hey, I just watched this thing. Let me give you the whole synopsis. And then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell you again when you don't give a shit. Holy shit, I left the damn graphic up. Oh, well, I don't give a shit. Welcome to the 4Nerds Network, episode 163.
There you go.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us today. We are 2 nerds down. We might get 2 nerds later on, but we want to thank you guys. Sorry for the tardiness, but I mean, hey, if 2 of them aren't going to show up, we can go live at any time. But we appreciate you guys for hanging out with us, and let's just jump to the chat. Oh, Nickatina's here. He said, check out my sports channel, you son of a bitch.
Shameless plug. Not even anything related to our episode. It's just, hey, come check out my new sports channel. Exactly. It's like, fuck, what thanks, dude.
A douche. But hey, smash that like button. Everybody, whether you just got here or whatever, man, it really helps us out. It kind of keeps us relevant. Because hey, everybody wants to be a little bit relevant in their lives.
It is the Ryan and Phil Power Hour.
That's what it is, man. It's DC right. United. Hi-ho. So we have Nerd Costa Nostra, which has been a valuable asset to my Instagram. Thank you so much. I love all the love that I've been getting from my drawing posts. I've been posting a lot of stuff over there. I put it in our little group chat or whatever, but I don't think anybody cares. So anyway, but Droga does care. Thank you so much, buddy, for your fire. I saw that the other day. That was very nice and very much appreciated. He says I could have stepped in. Oh man, dude, yeah, dude. If you want to link,
we should get Sean on the show. We should send him a link one of these days
on the Twitter. I don't get on Twitter all that much because there's not much going on Twitter. I usually hang out on Instagram. What's up, Jamie? What's going on, Raya? What's up, man? I saw all these awesome things that she was doing. Last week or a couple weeks ago, where I think maybe she was in Hawaii or Hawaii. I don't know how you say it. But she was doing all the zip lining and all this kind of, cool shit on the beach. And I was like, dude, I've done zip lining. It's pretty fun. So good on ya. And I hope you had a lot of fun there.
Yeah, good for you.
But yeah, RJ, what's up, man? Did you guys see the report today of Netflix looking at Toby Emmerich to replace
the head of Netflix? RJ, I'm not on Twitter anymore, my guy. I don't see hardly any.
I did not see this. I am totally going into this stuff blind today, especially with our main topic today as well. But yeah, no, I didn't see that, and I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to shift Toby over to something else. They're not done with this guy. He's old money, just like Kathleen Kennedy and her husband Frank Marshall and all that. Dude, they're all old money. You're not going to get rid of this.
Doesn't that just seem like a bad idea, though? Like Toby Emmerich at Netflix.
Yeah, over Zack Snyder again.
Right, exactly. It's just like,
not here, buddy.
It's just like, that just seems like a really bad idea. Like,
it is kind of, it's funny, but I doubt that would happen. I don't see that Toby Emmerich has really done that much. When he was over at Warner Brothers, I'm gonna say, shit wasn't working. The wheels weren't turning as they could have over at Warner Brothers under his tutelage. So I can't see where Netflix would be like, yeah, no, bring this guy over, and while you're at it, bring over Walter Hamada.
I could actually see Mr. Emmerich going over to somewhere like Paramount or Universal, but Netflix, I don't. I'm sorry.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
but not likely. Yeah, I agree. He could sidestep to another. But I mean, that's what they do. They're just like, hey, we have a position over here for you, and then they graft him in, because they're old money. They're not going to go anywhere.
Right.
It was amazing. Oh, okay. So awesome. That is really cool. I've never been to Hawaii. I'd love to go to Hawaii.
Neither have I. It would be fun.
It would be fun. Like, I have family in New Zealand, and we've always talked about like meeting halfway. Kind of, that would be the halfway point for us. So that would be cool. Maybe one day, eventually.
Maybe if we make enough money on the 4Nerds Network, we could fund a trip to Hawaii.
Tim Burton's Justice League. What?
I mean, you got Michael Keaton and Nick Cage, but who else?
Yeah, okay, who would he have picked as like Wonder Woman or Flash?
I mean,
I guess because what's his face? John Wesley Shipp lives in that universe.
I was just gonna say you can make a case for John Wesley Shipp being the Flash, right? But
I can agree with that.
Wonder Woman, I mean, it'd be kind of a stretch, but maybe Lynda Carter. But
Winona Ryder.
No, you know who it'd be? It'd be Helena Bonham Carter, his ex-wife.
Ooh. Okay. I've always, you know who's a missed opportunity from, in just my opinion, is Lucy Lawless.
Okay, yeah.
I always, and she's so beautiful. And when she was in that one movie, European, no, it was what was that one where the kids went over? Eurotrip.
She was
in Eurotrip, and I was like, oh my God, she's older, but she's so good looking. I was like, man, they really need to cast her as Wonder Woman, but never did. So. But anyway, we have a super chat. From Jason McKenzie. What's up? Thank you so much. Got to do one of these drops when we get these things, because it's always so
blowing this shit up.
It's like, oh my God! Wow! Oh my God! Love you, Jason. Thank you so much. Hope everyone is doing well. Yes, or doing good. Sorry. Yeah, we're doing great. So Andre is celebrating a kid's birthday today, which happens to be his own kid, and but his actual birthday is tomorrow.
Yeah, Dawson is commentating a basketball.
He's commentating a basketball game, so we can't really comment on that. He's off, trekking the wild, doing all the things that we wish we could do, and that's where he is. So. But thank you so much for New Zealand. Holy shit. Yeah, I was just talking about, I have family in New Zealand. That's awesome. That is awesome. And yes, this man does not know Lord of the Rings.
I don't really know.
But anyway,
that well.
So Rhea says, hey, she's saying what's up. I'm so sorry. I clicked on that. I love that you guys talk to each other, but we also love that you talk to us. Where are the other three nerds? What? Venom. What's up, Venom? I think Andre is secretly watching highlights from the last San Francisco 49ers game.
Which, hell yeah, they're going to the Super Bowl. I honestly didn't.
Of course, they're going to the Super Bowl.
I didn't expect them to beat the Lions. Once the second quarter rolled around and they were getting stomped, I was like, okay, we're done. But then my friend texted me. She's like, oh, touchdown Niners. And then she sent me another one. I was like, yeah, no fucking way. So I checked the score again and they were tied. I was like, get the fuck out of town. And then they won. I was like, okay, we're going to the Super Bowl. We're replaying the Chiefs again. So hopefully it's not a replay of what happened last time the Niners and the Chiefs played in the Super Bowl, where the Niners were kicking their ass most of the way and then they fuck it up in the fourth quarter. So I'm hoping it doesn't happen again. But history has a really ugly way of repeating itself, so I'm hoping it doesn't do it again.
So have you seen? Okay, so conspiracy hats on. Have you seen the logo for the Super Bowl and the color hues and all that? So I've seen that a lot on TikTok, because I scroll through TikTok because it's funny, and so it seems as though like the colors sort of predict the outcome, or the winners, or the people that are going against each other in the Super Bowl. So it's
does it really matter this time, because they're both basically the same fucking color?
I forget. It's like one's red and one's purple.
No, the Chiefs are red and white and the Niners are red and gold, but even still the Niners also have red and white in their logo too, so it really doesn't fucking matter. There you go.
Never mind. All right, really, and moving on. Moving on, RJ, Scott Stuber, that reminds me of something else. Scott Stuber, like that one have you seen that one YouTube video where it's like that guy and he's doing all the sports shit, he's like in volleyball and they keep hitting him in the head, and they're like, Scott Sterling, and he's like, it's so amazing, like every single person, like they spike the ball and it goes directly to his face. It's fake, but it's funny as shit.
But that's what streamers love to bring in those big name studio heads to be high ranking executive. I mean, that's just the nature of the business. They all bounce around after a certain number of years, or someone gets ousted or whatever.
Ooh, nice. I would love to see your Tim Burton interpretation of Wonder Woman.
I'd be very curious to see what that looks like.
Yeah, definitely post that for us, because we'd love to see that. Let's see. Andrew says,
Thank you for listening. I appreciate
yes.
that. Yeah, we're doing a DC Extended Universe retrospective. The Man of Steel episode should be dropping in the next few days. So keep an eye out for that.
And who does that with you?
My buddy Craig. He's my co-host on the Eternal Night.
There you go. There you go. And check out the Eternal Night, guys, especially if you have not, go ahead and subscribe to Phil's channel, right? It's a channel?
It's a podcast. You can find it on Podbean. You can find it on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio. You can pretty much find it anywhere in a podcast catcher. Just search The Eternal Night.
Hey, what's up, Fear Jason? I'm going to pull something up that he did in just a minute that I thought was hilarious. But, we got another super chat from Nerd Coast Nostra. Dropping some love for 2Nerd Crew kicking off the show tonight. Thank you so much.
We appreciate you.
So, yeah, no, we definitely appreciate you. Let me go ahead and give you one of Dawson's old bits that he likes to drop when we get super chats. Damn! I threw that in for you. So he's a loosey goosey and fresh, like the fresh. Let's see, Drogon.
We stay fresh over here.
Lawless is wonderful. Well, there you go. She's perfect. That would have been perfect casting for her time. Let's see. Oh yeah, check out Rhea at Glimmering Harpy. And Fear Jason, heck yeah. And we met Fear Jason. Me and Andre got to drive him home that night that we saw The Flash.
Yep. Met him at Full Circle.
No, it wasn't Andre's birthday. It's Andre's kid's birthday.
Correct.
So he's out at like Chuck E. Cheese, and just living it up.
Is it Chuck E. Cheese? Did he ever?
How old is Andre now?
63. Damn.
When I'm 60.
Damn.
Boom, boom.
Talk about a damn
reference.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, no, that's crazy. I'm sorry, you're saying about Chuck E. Cheese?
Was it ever clarified if the birthday party was going to take place at Chuck E. Cheese?
I am making a valid assumption.
Okay.
That's where they went.
I feel like that's a very valid assumption to make.
That's probably where they went, unless they have some favorite restaurant or whatever. But let me go ahead and share this real quick from Fear Jason. This is this is Andre the Last Airbender.
Oh fuck. Oh man. I forgot just how piss poor that movie is by comparison to the new TV show and Dawson. The original. Oh my god. Oh my god. That is, man, and you're Soka. That's
yeah. We appreciate the love, man. That is so awesome for you to do that. That is so funny. Let me take that off the screen. Okay. But thank you so much for Jason for that. I love those things every time. I don't get to see them that often because I don't hang out at Twitter a lot. Or what is it now called? X? Does anybody care? Elon's site. I don't know.
Elon's World.
Studio C. Was that
Studio
is that you?
C?
Is that, I don't know. Is that a reference to? I don't know.
I don't either.
Anyway, Andrew, we appreciate that. I can't hear. Hold on.
Neither can I. My
classic,
right ear is like half deaf.
Hilarious. So. But anyway, so we were talking a little bit about shows that we've seen before
movies
the show
and
started,
shows, yeah.
And we kind of I was talking about a John Travolta movie that I watched last night,
right.
Which was okay. It wasn't great and it didn't suck, but it had John Travolta and Steven Dorff, and they had a main character lead or whatever. He looked like Lincoln? The guy from Walking Dead, but I know it's not him. From Boondocks.
Was not Andrew Lincoln or Norman Reedus. Was not either one of those guys.
Right. It wasn't one of them, but he kind of looked like Norman a little bit. And then it had this other guy, kind of looked like he was related to Ethan Hawke, but I can't recall. I'd have to actually look that shit up on IMDb, which I might, because I feel horrible not being able to.
No, I don't feel
be
too
their
bad.
Names, IMDb, but it was an okay movie. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it was okay. It was like hey,
okay,
it was worth a watch.
So speaking of old movies, did you see the trailer for the new Roadhouse remake?
I did.
How do you feel about that?
I did Roadhouse with is one of my Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, the original with Swayze is one of my favorite films of all time.
So my parents went to school with Swayze.
No shit.
No shit. They went to high school with him. His name was Buddy Swayze back in the day. That's what they called him. They called him Buddy Swayze.
That's right.
And his mom and dad owned a dance studio.
Interesting.
And they graduated with him, and they weren't like, you know, like tight friends with him, but they were just, you know, they were in his class, and they were really cool with him. And unfortunately he's, you know, passed on or whatever. But, you know, so my mom has always loved every single movie that he's been in because, you know, she knows him. So Roadhouse was something that was like, I liked, it was really good. And I thought that they kind of made a remake of it, but it was a remake of a remake with The Rock, which was called like Standing Tall or something like that.
Yeah.
Or when he had like that board or whatever, and he was a bouncer, and they came into town, and, you know, they were trying to run him off and all that other shit. Or Walking Tall.
Yeah,
Walking Tall. So I was like, Walking Tall is kind of a remake of Roadhouse. But then seeing Jake Gyllenhaal, okay, so I dug what he was doing, but I didn't care about his protagonist or his antagonist. I'm sorry, his antagonist.
Because it's fucking Conor McGregor.
That was the muscle that they hired to beat him.
Okay, I know what you're talking. Yeah. The overall the head honcho of it all.
The younger guy, I was like, I'm not buying this. I'm not buying that you hired this guy who looks like Conor McGregor. I just didn't buy that guy. That guy was like, okay, it's kind of like he reminded me of the guy from that other movie, Underworld. If you remember Underworld, that the leader of the not the leader of the vampires, but the guy that was kind of running shit, you know, while the other, like, you know, the other main vampires were like under the ground or whatever.
Right.
Like, he was a horrible actor, and he reminded me of him. And I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be one of those where he's not the greatest villain or whatever. But anyway, so I saw that movie with John Travolta, and John Travolta played kind of a minor role in it. You know, he was the sheriff, and he just kind of like, you know, he was there. He just did sheriff shit. But yeah, going back to what you were asking about the Roadhouse, I think that I'd be interested in watching it because I do like Jake Gyllenhaal. I thought he did a great job with Nightcrawler and with what was that one with Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, and he was looking for the Riddler, but he wasn't the Riddler. It was that
Prisoners.
guy.
Prisoners.
Yeah, Prisoners. There you go. I like that movie. I thought he did a good job. I like Jake more than I like his sister. I don't think his sister has the acting chops that he has.
There you go.
But he's been around since he's a kid.
There you go. Hating women again, man.
Yeah. He's been in the whose kid was he? He was somebody's kid. Like
he was you know what
Bruce
else he's
Willis?
good in? He's fucking great in Jarhead.
Jarhead he was good in, yeah.
Jarhead is fun. Jarhead's a fun movie. But
I mean, he's been a kid. He's a kid actor, just like, you know, Elijah Wood and all them. You know, they just kind of grew up in it, and they just kind of, that's what they do. And so yeah, I mean, he's pretty good. But I'm interested. I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, if you're gonna remake Patrick Swayze movies, right? Like obviously, the one that immediately comes to mind for me right now is Red Dawn with Chris Hemsworth and Josh Peck and a couple other people. I wasn't too hot on that one.
Wasn't great.
Was not great, especially compared to the original movie. Like it's just not. It just didn't hit the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think with Roadhouse, I think there's wiggle room there to make something that's honorable towards the original, but it's obviously not going to reach the same extent. But I think when you have a lead like Jake Gyllenhaal and you're kind of giving Dalton a bit more of a backstory where now he's kind of a washed up MMA fighter, I'm like, okay, I can kind of understand where they're going with this. This is understandable. And the supporting cast, okay, you got what's her face from the Suicide Squad as, like, you know, the love interest, Danielle Melichor, whatever, like that's fine. But you know, I'm literally going to watch the movie just so I can watch Jake Gyllenhaal beat the piss out of Conor McGregor. That's literally the only
I didn't catch him in Southpaw, because I know that's like
Southpaw's good.
First got jacked.
Southpaw's a good movie,
and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, he should be Batman. He should be Batman." I'm like, no. And when he was Mysterio, I was like, "Okay, cool. That's a pretty good fit.
Yeah,
it worked."
I agree.
And I was cool with him in that. But yeah, no, the Rock movie was based on real events. That's interesting. True events. Let's see. Walking Tall, based on the life of 10 Sheriff Buford T. Justice, who almost single-handedly cleaned up a small town of crime and corruption, but at a personal cost of his family life and nearly his own. So interesting. That's a pretty good synopsis right there that you gave us. I'm interested in watching it. It was just a different take, but I don't care for the Point Break. Oh, the Point Break remake. Yeah, no, fuck that. Point Break was a good film. And Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze did a fantastic job.
I agree.
In that film. I mean,
it's been a long time since I've seen Point Break.
Oh, dude, I watched that last year. I could not. I still today have not finished watching the remake of Point Break. There's no point, dude. Sometimes it's just like, why remake? Because you're tapped out of ideas. It sucks. It like there's so many different scenarios and things out there that people haven't even thought of, and there's so many things that have come out that people haven't really like really harnessed and really gotten something really great from it. That there's still fertile ground out there to come up with something that's a little bit more original,
or even just like, I'm not going to say unnecessary sequels, but sequels that are made for the sake of being a sequel. Case in point, like I mentioned to you right before we started going live, I watched Face Off. I bought it for $5 on Vudu. It had a really good deal, and I was like, okay, I haven't seen this in forever, so I rewatched Face Off, and my God, just okay. On paper, that movie shouldn't work, but then you watch the movie and you're like, fuck, John Woo knocked the shit out of the park.
Yeah, it's a great film. It's a great film. Like when I remember going and seeing that, as a young kid, and I was like, this is gonna be stupid. But I was pleasantly surprised by it, because it really, I bought it. I was like, oh wow, they changed faces, and these actors are so good that they can, like, you take Nicolas Cage, and Nicolas Cage always knows how to act one way as Nicolas Cage, but to see him act as a different person, I was like, yo, that's where I gained some respect for that guy.
To see him be the villain of the story, and just kind of step out of that box that he's always put in, it's actually pretty refreshing, because there are not too many Nicolas Cage characters that play like Castor Troy. And fuck, dude, Castor Troy is just an excellent villain through and through, no matter what, right? And then you get John Travolta, typically more often than not. He's usually kind of a solid, decent guy in most movies. I mean, obviously, he was Howard Saint, the Punisher, and that was kind of a turn. But to see them both act not only like opposite of each other, but act like each other.
Yeah,
that is something I think you're not going to be able to ever recreate.
I don't think that a sequel is warranted.
I don't know how you do a sequel, especially
the only way that they could do a sequel is not to have themselves do it again. Yeah,
it would be about the children.
It'd be about their children or whatever, and
specifically the adopted kid that Travolta adopts, that is Castor Troy's son. Like, it would have to be about Adam. But apparently,
I think in this kind of film, a sequel isn't warranted, but a remake would be interesting.
Sure, I can
especially with the technology that you can do today. Where you have that like what were the face swap technology, to where you don't even have to pretend to act like the other person. You just act, and the other person's face is on you.
Yeah,
and so that'd be a very interesting sort of.
And even you can work biometric technology into the plot somehow, because that's definitely a thing in today's time. Yeah. But again, I don't know how you do a sequel, especially because apparently it's being done by Adam Wingard, who did Godzilla vs. Kong, and he's doing the new Godzilla x Kong movie. And apparently, Travolta and Nicolas Cage, they are allegedly in talks to come back. Nicolas Cage talked about it. Travolta hasn't said a word. But apparently they've been talked to about coming back for the sequel. And I'm like, I don't know how the fuck you bring either one of them back.
Sure.
But, hey, if you got it on paper and you think it's a fucking good idea, more power to you. Just, try and honor the original as best you can. Because I don't know that you can honestly live up to what John Woo was able to achieve with that.
Yeah. No, it's an odd it's an odd request, or not really a request, but it's an odd situation where it's like, hey, let's. I mean, they tried to do a Goonies sequel for the longest time.
Fuck yeah!
Until finally they were just like, all right, you know what? We don't have it.
Not only that, like Richard Donner's no longer here, so no offense, but what's the point if he's not here anymore? I don't see that happening at all now that he's
and Corey Feldman, I mean, how can you bring that guy back? I mean, he's so much has happened to that cat that bringing him back would.
I don't think he would want to.
He's too busy, you know, playing around with his angels.
I don't even think that. I just think that he's
doing his own
just
thing.
so far removed from the acting scene. I don't necessarily think he'd want to come back.
The only thing I would ever want him to come back as is a voice for Donatello. Like he was the best fucking Donatello ever. Like bring him back for like a Last Ronin kind of, you know, setup or whatever, and just, you know, give us a little bit of that, and that'd be great.
You know, the last movie I saw Corey Feldman in was actually in October. Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter, which was not, in fact, the final chapter.
Yeah, well, it was that chapter that was final.
Sure, I guess. Because he plays young Tommy Jarvis in that movie. Man, that's another interesting thing. They had the character of Tommy Jarvis be played by like 3 different actors across 3 different movies.
Well, I mean, they kind of did the same thing with the vacation movies. They always changed the kids,
Russ.
Audrey and
Russ. They changed Russ. Yeah, you're right.
So it's all right.
Because in the first film, it's Johnny Galecki. I think he's the first or second one. I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, no. For vacation, or are you talking about for?
I'm thinking that
Friday the 13th.
No. I'm thinking vacation.
Oh, vacation was what's his name? He was in. Oh God. He was in 16 Candles. He was in The Dark Knight.
Michael Anthony Hall.
Yes, he was the first one.
Okay, and then it was Galecki, I think.
Yes,
or it was the other way. It was one of the other way around.
And
I don't know which one came first.
The third one was the guy from the Big Bang Theory.
That's Johnny Galecki.
He was in Christmas.
Yes, he was in Christmas.
The other one that was in Vegas he was in That Thing You Do. He played the bassist.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
And then the other one that was just utter trash was the sequel, and it was Vacation with the guy from Hangover and Christina Applegate, I think.
Where they basically tried to like not really remake, but it was like a legacy sequel of sorts
instead.
Yeah, Russ's family.
It just didn't. And you know, Chevy was there, and so was Beverly, but it wasn't.
Ed Helms, I think.
Ed Helms, that's right.
Yeah, it was Ed Helms. Yeah, he plays older Rusty.
Yeah. Hangover. So yeah, no, it did not do a good job. The best thing about that movie was Chris Hemsworth. Come on.
Oh, wow. I haven't seen it, so I couldn't even give an opinion on it.
To be honest, it just in his little part was funny just because he had charisma and he was charming, and that was funny, and that was it. And other than that, the movie was just trash.
So maybe he should have been older Rusty then.
Man, you know what? Who I always thought would have been a good sort of like, you know, son of Chevy Chase, Norm Macdonald.
Okay.
He would have been good.
Yeah. I could see that.
I think he would have been a great sort of like, okay, this is who you give the father carrying the torch kind of thing too.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, and you know, he could have had his own run, and that would, you know, and you could have done all kinds, because there's so many more vacations than just Wally World, European, Vegas, and then Christmas. And there's so many more you could do. You know, so many different, you know, people that can have like a fucking Carnival cruise or some shit. You know, there's a vacation. You know, there's all kinds of shit that you can, you know, that you could do that have, you know, it opens itself up for like, you know, funny scenarios and shit. You know, because you know, there's so many things that you often do with your family.
I agree.
So,
or even just, so you could even do like a road trip vacation type of movie too. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's essentially what the first one is, more or less.
That's what the first one sort of it becomes, or whatever. Another one that sort of brings it back is talking about Travolta again. I like Wild Hogs.
Oh, yeah.
And that's sort of a cross country kind of thing where it's like, you know, these guys are going on vacation, but it's what's his name from Fargo and what's his William H. Macy.
Yes.
And Tim Allen and Martin Lawrence and Ray Liotta.
Yes.
And that was a pretty funny. It was stupid. It was Marissa Tomei. It was really dumb, but I love Travolta in that film. I think he's hilarious.
You know, there's nothing bad with dumb fun if it's done right, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's nothing wrong with dumb fun if it's done right. And that movie is nothing short of dumb fun done right.
Sure. Yeah. When they keep meeting that highway cop.
Yep. That's right.
That's pretty funny
man.
shit.
I might watch that later. I also watched, kind of going back to Swayze. I like just last night, I actually rewatched Coppola's take on the Well, not even take, Coppola's Outsiders.
Oh yeah, that has Tom Cruise.
Emilio
has,
Estevez.
What's his name? Karate Kid.
Ralph Macchio. There we go.
Ralph Macchio. Emilio Estevez.
C. Thomas Howell as Pony Boy, and fucking Rob Lowe as Soda Pop, dude.
Mm-hmm.
My God, that cast is just too stacked. Fucking Diane Lane as Cherry Valance.
Oh
my
yeah,
God.
I was like, wow, she's young.
Man, young Diane Lane.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, like that to me is like top tier Coppola. Like, don't get me wrong, like you got The Godfather, you got whatever else he's done. But man, Outsiders is literally and should be the template for how you adapt a fucking book to a movie.
Yeah.
But man, so many people are like, no, we're gonna take these liberties and we're gonna change this and that. I'm just like, looking at Coppola and what he did with The Outsider, I'm just like, fuck, that was it. That and fucking Matt Dillon.
Yeah.
Dallas Winston, spot on casting.
He was the worst friend you could ever have. Getting him in all kinds of shit. But yeah, no, I mean that was a great cast. It was like it was a great cast before they even knew that they were great. You know?
Oh yeah.
It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that like, you know, you can cast that many like really good actors, and it's kind of like, you know, Young Guns or some shit. Like, whoa, yeah. That's like, you know, it's the same. It's a lot of the same people, but hey, what's up, Anthony? How's it going,
trash man? How's it hanging?
Yeah, that's trash. All right. He's to say
a little to the left, a little to the right. How's it hanging, buddy?
But The Outsiders, the vibe of The Outsiders reminds me of the remake with Al Pacino as what's that? That one they were talking about remaking it again, not Carlito's Way, but what was that one? Scarface.
Yeah,
very similar tone. You know, the younger, like the his younger brother, or
I think so.
He felt like he was an outsider. It was from that sort of group.
I don't know how you remake Scarface. That to me is just,
it's already a remake.
True,
but Pacino's a remake, and they wanted to remake it again.
Like, how do you do that again after doing the Pacino film? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how you could even try.
Yeah, you take something epic and you're like, you know what? Let's just take it back to brass balls. Like, well, what are you doing? Like, you can't get better than that. Don't try. You know, I mean, again, go back. You know, don't go back and like, you know, drudge up something that's been done before. You know, come up with something your own. You know, make it your own. You know, and give us a new story. There's so many different people out there that have so many. You know, what's interesting to me is like actually talking to people that have like, you know, have lived great and interesting stories, scenarios, and things that they can talk about that you never see in a movie. You know, and it's fascinating and interesting and all that. And people just like, let's just keep making the same shit because we know it works.
You know, I feel like if I were to make my own movie, but it was lightweight inspired by a movie that had come before it, not necessarily in a remake kind of sense, but like in an inspired by kind of sense, I would do a movie like The Outsiders, but I would set it in the 80s and make it about metalheads.
There you go.
And have it be like a conflict between like, you know, these heavy metal, long-haired metalheads versus these like really, you know, preppy fucking, you know, socialite kids who were into like more classical music and, you know, rich. It would essentially be like a rich versus poor type of scenario like The Outsiders was, but I would definitely have it be like heavy metal inspired.
Well, like nowadays you can't really, like, you have to, like you said, you have to make it a period piece because lines have been blurred. Like Revenge of the Nerds is one. That's
another one. We've talked about this,
and you can't make it nowadays because the standard for nerd has been blurred by just so many different, you know, tropes and and scenarios and things like that. So I mean, you know, it's you have to, if you wanted to do one, you'd have to like, okay, we're gonna have to set this back in the 80s. I'm sorry, guys, we're gonna have to go back to fraternities, you know, being, you know, a certain way, and like, you know, they would only, you know, kind of, you know, bring in like people and all that. And, you know, it's the funny stuff is like, you know, back then it's an us versus them kind of scenario, but it's like, you know, you knew it and you didn't worry about it. But nowadays you can't do an us versus them because it's just so blended, you know, as far as like, you know, the different types of people that are into different things or you know, associated with, or have multiple interests or whatever. And nobody, you know, I don't know. It's a different, you know, sort of environment now than it was then.
100%. And yeah, I mean, like, if you wanted to do Bomb City, I'll have to check that out.
I haven't seen that. What's that?
Apparently it's very similar to what I just described. So that's cool.
Okay, I've never seen that.
I feel like if you were going to like remake or try and redo Revenge of the Nerds, I wouldn't necessarily take it from a fraternity sense. I would actually take it from a more way modern perspective. Like you would have maybe a collective main characters, like one's a YouTuber, one works at GameStop, you know, one's kind of an outsider and works somewhere fucking, you know, on at a computer stand or like a computer shop. Like you basically have to collectively make them all different kinds of nerds, and then they have to collectively battle people who are not of that same deal. Like you'd have them go up against a group of friends where like one's a tattoo artist, one's a guy who works in construction. You basically kind of have to turn it into like an alpha male versus beta male type of bullshit. And even then I'm just kind of like, that whole idea to me is just like, it's just dipping the toe too far into the modern.
It's hard to sort of do and have digested in our sort of in our society, I guess you could say. But I mean, you know, it's funny that like, you know, we're talking about stuff like that, but and you know, these things are you know, they're fiction.
True.
And you know, but there's so many people that like get offended by different types of fiction. I'm like, wait a minute, this is all make believe shit. You know, like can't we? You know, and that's why like I watch a lot of comedians, and I dude, I kid you not, I don't laugh. I don't laugh because it's so bland. Nothing, and like I have to watch like old like Richard Pryor or you know something like way back when they didn't give a shit.
George Carlin.
Yeah, I mean George Carlin, yeah, no, definitely great. And you know, or Eddie, you know, early Eddie Murphy. And you know, back when it's sort of unfiltered because you know what the comedians do,
no pun intended.
What they should do is just sort of bring your attention to things that you would normally think about. And then bring, you know, make light of it or whatever, and just like really be, you know, raw and hardcore with like, you know, just sort of like underlying, like,
you know what the worst irony is about comedians nowadays is like comedians nowadays, they only find humor in like clowning on other comedians, and it's like that's not the point. Like we're supposed to all be laughing at the same dumb shit, but we're not supposed to be laughing at each other's dumb shit. Like. Come on, we're not all Carlos Mencia here. Fucking figure some funny shit out and don't be afraid to offend people.
Yeah, no, that's okay, and that's kind of what I was getting to is like, dude, the greatest comedians are the ones that can actually offend people.
Right.
And again, you know, when we were talking about this, I think before the show is like, you know, when you offend somebody, it's not about like, you know, what they say, it's about how you receive it and how you internalize it, how you process it, and how you know, and they have no control over that. That's all in you because that's in your head and that's what in your mind and how you have to sort of, you know, process, you know, these different things that have been like, you know, presented to you or whatever. But, you know, you have to understand that like it's all said not as a derogatory or like, you know, hateful or whatever, you know, it's all just to kind of point out, you know, what's funny is shit that's fucking differences.
Right.
You know, if you're used to one thing, you point something out that's something that's different or something that you're not used to or whatever, or something that you didn't think of or think about in that sort of, you know, realm, then, you know, it gives you a different perspective of looking at that same element and saying, oh shit, that's funny. And that's the best because, you know, a lot of the comedians are actually the smartest of performers because they have to intellectually come at you with some with different things like, you know, Gallagher or like you said, Carlin or Robin Williams or, you know, Eddie Murphy or whatever, you know, like they're very intelligent people because they understand how to speak to you, how to get, you know, how to put a scenario or put a an instance or whatever in your mind and have you think about that and have you realize like how fucking corny or funny that is. You know, and that's the trick of it right there.
Right.
Is like, you know, getting you sort of out of your own train of thought into a different thought pattern and saying, oh shit, I never thought of it that way. That's funny, you know?
Yeah. Like, I think if I had one comedian that I can kind of follow and doesn't necessarily fall into that category, it would probably be Bert Kreischer. Okay. I think of the modern era, he's probably the one who isn't afraid to not necessarily offend other people, but he just knows how to be funny without being kind of an asshole about it. But he also knows how to like make fun of himself and make fun of other people. Like his bit about, you know, I am the machine with the Russian train. That shit still makes me laugh to this day. And even like they made a fucking movie about it with him and Mark Hamill. So I don't know. I think of like the modern era of comedians. He's one of the very, very few that I can look at and point to and be like, yeah, no, he's funny. But a lot of other comedians, they're just like, can't even fuck with it because they like even recently Dave Chappelle like walked off stage because he was getting booed or something. I don't remember.
Really? Because I watched his latest thing on Netflix. And okay, so old Dave Chappelle is not as funny as young Dave Chappelle because young Dave Chappelle was just like he didn't give a fuck.
Right.
Like, you know, and then he got slapped on the wrist or whatever. But I mean, I used to love like that one bit where he's like on the streets of New York with his white friends and they go to a police officer and they're like, you know, they ask him for directions and they're high. And he's like, you know, can you tell me where such and such street is? He's like, motherfucker, you're on such and such street, you know?
Right.
He was like, I'm a little high. But it's funny shit. Like, oh, let's sprinkle some crack on him. But shit like that is just, it's fucking hilarious. But like the one thing that I see, you know, that like comedies, movies are not as funny as they used to be. Like now it's just raunchy for the sake of raunchy, and there's nothing there, you know, there's no substance, and that's what it's missing. And it's like, oh man, you know, because I wrote a comedy film that we tried to shop around or whatever, and it got some traction because, you know, I had some funny moments in it, but it just it's edgy. And it's not, you know, it's not that safe shit that you just kind of get now. You know, Bill Burr, yeah, he can be funny. He can be funny.
I agree.
Sometimes he can be annoying, but he can be funny.
Don't disagree. I do not disagree with that. I think he gets a little too over the top in certain cases. But yeah, on the whole, I can agree with that.
Even that young guy that's going around now, like I get it. It's kind of funny, but it's not. I forget his name. He's got a lot of specials on now.
Couldn't tell you. And
he's always talking to like older women or whatever in the crowd, and because I guess he's a good looking guy. I can't remember his name. I know Andre knows him, or knows who I'm talking about because we talked about that before. But it's like, you know, these guys, they're just sort of vanilla. You know, they're not really like hardcore funny as shit. Yes, that's the guy, Matt Rife.
Yeah,
he's kind of hot and cold. It's like some of the stuff like. It's like back in the day, like I used to watch the specials of like Dane Cook, like when he was live. That shit was funny back then, and you know, and there's just like you can't. I don't know, man. There's so many funny guys out there, and there are some funny women. I will give them that. There are some funny women, but I can't relate to a lot of the stuff that
the current head of SNL said something to the effect of like, oh yeah, Tina Fey could absolutely take the reins from me soon, which wouldn't at all shock me. I think if there's anyone to like take the reins.
Well, Tina Fey's funny.
Yeah.
And also,
I agree.
What's her name? Oh my God. She was in Despicable Me. She was in the horrible Ghostbusters movie.
Kristen Wiig.
Funny. Yes. Kristen Wiig. Yes. She's funny.
Wiig. Yeah.
And her who else? And what's her name's kind of hot and cold. What's her name? Melissa McCarthy. She's kind of hot and cold. She's not the greatest. She's kind of like that. Like, I want to say like, she's kind of got that shock jock kind of thing going. The people who I didn't find funny when they were younger and they were sort of doing stand-up and then their heyday was Rosie O'Donnell and the Catherine Ho. Is that her name? Catherine Ho? She was
Miss Swan. On MTV or not MTV, Mad TV.
Mad TV. Oh, God, is that her name?
It might be, but I could be totally wrong about that. I honestly don't remember.
You could be right, but you could be totally wrong because I would totally misremember and just come up with an alternate reality. But she wasn't that funny. But it's mainly because like I don't think girls go as hardcore as guys do. You know, guys don't give a shit, and girls sort of like, you know, their humor is sort of catered to their experiences, which,
right.
You know, it's cool, it's good for them. I think that like male comics sort of don't, they have an advantage, over female comics, because they can say things that are not gender specific, or they're not speaking directly to men. They're just speaking of just like Sinbad. Sinbad said something the other day. He was like the difference between you and your bros, y'all missing a turn versus you and your wife missing a turn. Like your bro, you're in the car, you're like, yo, you missed a turn. You're like, what? Oh shit. And then there's like they turn around. And then like the wife is like, hey, oh, you missed your turn. You should have turned there. Why didn't you turn there? He's like, oh, I'll just go ahead and make a U-turn and come back around. She's like, no, don't do it. I don't want to go there anymore. My night's ruined. And forget all that. Let's just go home. Completely different scenario.
I mean, in some cases, yeah, I suppose so.
But it's funny shit. Like the guys are missing, like, oh shit. That's their response to like missing.
It's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, we'll come back around. But anyways, like that was just sort of a minor example of something that I thought was like, well, that's funny on both fronts. Ricky Gervais. Did you know Ricky Gervais was I think he was a musician first, or a singer?
I believe so, yeah.
And then he kind of got into the whole thing, and I guess he got with like Simon Pegg and all those guys. But anyway, so is one of those who doesn't care. I'm hosting the award show. I think that shit was scripted, to be honest with you. I think they were just sort of like putting things out there and just to
be frank, it's
got to be approved.
I'm like in the minority. I don't really care that much about Ricky Gervais or think he's like all that funny. I mean, yeah, obviously the awards thing was kind of funny, but I'm just one of those people. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying right here though is that everything that he was saying has to be approved, and it's true. It has to be approved.
True.
So, they allowed that or whatever. Just same thing with the whole Will Smith and Chris Rock. They allowed that shit. There's no fucking security that came up and did anything. It was all fake. Just for it's because all it's performances. They're all actors. It's all fake. Nate Bargatze or Bargatze. I don't know who this person is. It's pretty good. Definitely has his own style. Okay, cool.
Yeah. No, I haven't really been watching too many comedians lately. I've just been kind of.
I tried. There was this one that I don't trash people, so I didn't care. Like I'll watch stuff like as I'm eating. I'll put something on like Netflix or whatever and kind of listen to it. And if I'm not laughing, I'll turn it off.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just so many that I find myself not laughing. Oh, but without further ado, we have a special guest, a third nerd for us, and it is Brad the
Scargiver Curran. How you doing?
Thank you. Sure. Yeah, sorry. It's like I was trying to. I was going to be on probably about 8:20 because I had class tonight, but I got delayed by a few different things. So
we've been talking shit for like the last almost hour now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh well, what interesting happened today? I mean, I'm sure there was Supergirl stuff, and there was
we haven't even gotten any of that.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to that. We're just talking about stuff that we've watched recently, and just kind of gone into that a little bit.
Okay, but yeah, well, to get my quick thoughts on the casting news. I mean, because I'm not really too familiar. What's her name again? Millie
Alcock. Yeah,
because I've only seen a little bit of House of the Dragon, so I'm not terribly familiar with her. But
yeah, I never watched it, so I'm not sure.
So it's hard for me to kind of really like.
She's a pretty girl, but I mean, and that's what I was telling Andre. He was like trying to put us on the spot last week. He was like, "Who do you think should get the role for Supergirl?" And I was like,
"Right, yeah." And we were just like,
neither one of these ladies. So I was like, I can't tell you anything. I've never seen them act, so I don't know. Like, I'd be like, "Oh man, yeah, no, I'd choose her because she's so beautiful." But let's just say she was like not the greatest actress. Like, okay, like so that doesn't do justice to the role. So she looks good in the role, but doesn't act good in the role. So I'm,
yeah. So I mean,
I think the last two were one was the voice actor for Supergirl in the
Meg
latest
Donnelly.
DCAU.
Yeah.
So who's to say that she's got great screen presence? Who knows?
Yeah,
right?
well, I remember a lot of people speculating about her because I mean the whole thing about like the cast are going to like play the characters in live action and animation.
I don't think that's going to be the thing. I think eventually, like they might get a couple of them to do it, but I don't think that's part of the deal now. I think there's like fuck it, let's because they're still releasing shit. You know, there's like fuck it.
Yeah, but again, it's kind of like with Corn Sweat. It's like, well, him, I'd like, what was the Pearl? It was like I'd seen. That's probably, I think that's about the only thing I've seen him in. He's not.
I've
like,
never seen him in anything. He just looks like Henry Cavill, so he gets
he
gets my thumbs up.
One other thing, I've seen him in one other thing, and it's the show with John Bernthal, We Own This City.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Droga, yes, she's Aussie, so that's a point
she
there.
Is, yes.
So yeah, I mean, I can't offer like too much in-depth commentary on that. Just to say, I wish them well, and
sure.
Yeah, I mean, just go for it. I mean, just I'm not the type really to really get like too bent out of shape either way when it comes to casting. I mean, the scarring WB has left on DC fans notwithstanding, I'm not the type to usually get too bent out of shape about casting news as it relates to like fan casting or things like that, because I've always been like, I mean, this is every actor's job description. It's playing somebody you're not. So
right.
So I tend to kind of say, okay, if they saw something in whoever's going to be cast in this role, wherever the case may be, it's like, yeah,
so here she is. So
yes,
visually she's short. I think she's like 5 something.
She's like
5'2",
she looks pretty
5'5", 5'3", 5'5". I think she's 5'5"
in that photo. Yeah.
So I don't know if they're gonna be like doing forced perspective like Lord of the Rings when she's talking to Corn Sweat, because he's like 6'3", 6'4".
He's 6'4". Yeah.
And I mean, that's definitely, I mean, is it gonna be like a Stallone kind of thing where they have to put her on a box when she's talking to, she's talking to David? You're like, hey, it's Superman.
Yeah, they might do a thing like twins. It's like with DeVito and Schwarzenegger.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like a Kryptonian version of that.
Yeah. So I mean, she, blonde lady, very attractive.
Yeah. Who is the shortest guy to place? Because they Superman, because they tend to be pretty big dudes.
Hecklin or Christopher Hecklin or Brandon Routh.
Yeah,
Brandon Routh was shorter than Reeve because they put him in heels.
Yeah, right. Because Reeve was like 6'4". He was enormous.
Yes.
Right.
And then Henry Cavill, I believe, already about 6'1" or 6'2". Yeah.
He's 6'2".
And Corn, I'm about 5'11". I think I read he's about my height. And I couldn't say offhand how tall Dean Cain is, and then Tom Welling, I read also he's about 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah, pretty tall guy.
Yes, they tend to get pretty. They tend to get. I mean, because Superman, they tend to want to have a guy with as much of a powerful presence as he can.
Right.
Sure.
How's it going, Ray?
Hey-o.
So, like, okay, so I have a picture. I actually drew her. Wait, no. I put her in here. I put Sasha right there.
Yeah.
So Sasha Calle is right there, and then I put the new Supergirl because I figured she'd be blonde. I put her there.
That's her right there. Okay.
Yeah, I put her. I can probably bring up a better image of that. But yeah, Andre tried to claim that today. Andre tried to claim it today that he called it, and what I was like, bitch, I drew her shit like way before you even mentioned that shit. I already had her on my mural. So
yeah, I again, it's like I'm not being too familiar with her. I couldn't really call that, but I mean, again, it's just like with I wish them all the best.
Yeah, sure.
Especially with the situation, especially with what, and this is right here, something William and I were talking about the other night with the current state of W financial, as far as like how, because we were discussing like the news about like their stocks had, taken a hit and things like that. So, yeah, it's, I mean, I did not sound like a record, but it's like, yeah, I wish them well, Godspeed. And, yeah, just go for it.
Yeah, so Andre was saying that he really liked her casting. He thinks that because he's read what is it, Woman of Tomorrow?
Woman of Tomorrow, yeah.
Yes, Woman of Tomorrow.
So he's read that, and he was like, "Oh yeah, no, I totally get it. This is so in line with James Gunn." And I think she'd do really well for that or whatever, because he definitely was into the House of the Dragon, and I think he watched it and liked it and all that. So I'm just curious, like, do you guys think that like, how do you think that they'll have her in a uniform or whatever? Do you think that she'll look like she'll have like a skirt? Do you think she'll have pants? Do you think she'll have?
I think the time has come to kind of like let the skirt, kind of like with well, she got a skirt, Wonder Woman, but I mean, but she had, as I call it, the Star Spangled Bikini previously. So, and they updated that. So I think I think the time is.
I mean, you had Gal Gadot. She was in a skirt.
Yeah,
and that looked fucking dope.
But yeah, but it was like a Greek, Spartan kind of skirt. That
sure, and you do something similar to where it doesn't look like just a free flowing cotton blend, polyester, skirt, like cheerleader skirt. It could have layers and it could look pretty dope. They had this one thing that I thought was really cool. Instead of a cape, they kind of had like a half cape, like on her waist, where she was still wearing pants, but she had it was sort of had like a little cape in the back just around her waist. And I thought that was kind of cool.
The big thing for either of her core and sweatsuits is really going to be the test for me. Is and I mean
5'5".
Not oh, okay, so she's about the same height. Is and not to sound too hung up on what came before, but the idea of the Kryptonian suit being chainmail, that was something that just I really loved. They had the chainmail suit for both Henry Cavill and Sasha.
Do you
Calle
think that they will keep that in that this is sort of a blended universe?
I doubt. I don't know. I would think that, I mean, because it's kind of like when Matt Reeves took on the Batman, it's like he Pattinson's suit is very distinct from Affleck's, so it's
right.
It's I would think that they would want to put their own stamp on it and make it distinct from anything else. So
I have a suspiciously sneaking feeling that she tested in either Melissa Benoist's suit or Sasha Calle's suit.
Yeah,
there's no way her suit's ready. David Cornsweet's suit, on the other hand, is probably close to, if not outright ready. The movie starts shooting in a month. Will we see her in Superman Legacy? Maybe. I don't know.
I think that's probably the reason why she got cast.
Probably. That's my guess too, why they cast her so early.
Yeah.
It's either that or they're going to make her movie next. I doubt, because I shared this in our group chat over text, but James Gunn clarified on Threads earlier today.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a second thing that's supposed to be getting rolling later this year.
Two other projects that are apparently going to
two. Okay,
he's planning on two other projects that are apparently going to go into production.
I bet one was Peacemaker season 2.
I'm probably right there with you. It could be that, or it could be Waller. So here, I'll pull it up right here. Let me get this shared present and share screen.
Sure.
There we go.
Second.
There we go. I got it.
Last one.
Yeah, okay. Droga, thanks for getting the skirt.
So he says he's responding to someone. A year later, does it look like more projects will enter the chapter, or did the strike ensure that wouldn't happen? He responded, some things have shifted around. Some projects now earlier, others later, and other new projects are being developed. Like I said from the beginning, we are going to put things in production based on when we have a great script and nothing else. And luckily, we've had some great scripts come and take us by surprise. There was that recent addition of a screenwriter for Supergirl or Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow earlier this year. So that wouldn't at all shock me if that film goes into production not long after Superman Legacy.
Yeah, I think that has a good shot if they've got the Supergirl for it. Yeah.
Clearly, they feel pretty confident in the character if they cast her already.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So,
I agree. I agree with that.
And as far as the actress herself, I've seen her in the House of Dragon show. She's not bad at all. I think I haven't read the book, but I know of things in the book, so I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense why she got the role. I get it. I'm kind of with Brad. I'm not one way or the other. You're not going to see me trying to get James Gunn to bend over so I can kiss his ass, nor are you going to see me holding a fucking torch out front of his front lawn begging that he just stop. I'm not in either of those camps. I'm in the camp of like, just show me what you're going to fucking do. Like, I'm not going to like brown nose you, but I'm not going to fucking chastise you. Like, just show me what you can do before I make any hard judgments.
Right.
Obviously, I'm a little bit with Brad in that, yeah, the scar from what has happened from the previous universe is still pretty fresh. Yeah. It'll probably still be kind of fresh by the time this next Superman movie comes out. But even still, like, I'm open to it. Show me what you can do. Sure. Show me what your fucking movie can do. But at the same time, like, I have my standards, I have my bar. Like, Man of Steel for me is like the top tier Superman movie, and I don't know that it will ever be met ever again. But, you know, I was very open to the Batman happening. Granted, Ben Affleck is still my favorite live action version of Batman, but Robert Pattinson came pretty fucking close. He's number 2 now. Like, I think if I had a list, it probably goes Ben Affleck, Robert Pattinson, Val Kilmer, and then Christian Bale. Like, that is my list of live action Batman.
Dawson's is George Clooney, George
Clooney. Right. But, you know, like,
he loved how the Flash ended then.
Like, in what little I've seen to kind of shift gears of David Cornsweet, the role he had in We Own This City, there are hints and shades of Clark Kent in it, like the good guy, the do-gooder, because he's a good cop in that. I'm like, okay, I get it. I get why he's Superman. Now, granted, everyone's like, oh, you need to watch Pearl, you need to watch this and the other thing, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna. I'll wait. Like, I will fucking wait, because none of that has shit fuck all to do with Superman.
Sure.
I want to see what this version of Superman looks like. Obviously, there's going to be some pretty heavy ties to Superman 78. I mean, for Christ's sake, you got Nicholas Hoult there as Lex Luthor, and you cast someone else to play Miss Tessmacher. Miss Tessmacher is a straight up nod to Superman 78, because she's not a character.
Oh, sure,
yes. Right?
Definitely.
And even if Millie Alcock's Supergirl shows up in this movie, okay, cool. The movie's titled Superman Legacy. It's not fucking Superman 78 Redux, even though there's a lot of hints towards that in some way, shape, or form. But I really, really hope that the dude, by dude I mean Gunn, balances this shit where you find a happy medium between Superman 78 and Man of Steel. Like, come on. We don't need to do the whole truth, justice, American way bullshit 100% through and through. That is tired and old, and it does not fit a modern version of Superman anymore. Regardless of whatever the fuck Peter Safran says in a fucking interview to try and sell a character. Like, I really do think that if you want to make this character applicable in 2025, you really need to just kind of do a happy mesh of the two. But that's just me personally.
No, I agree. It's if it's 78 Redux, then I think it's probably. I mean,
look, you do 78 Redux, you're just going to piss off the Snyder fans even more. You're DOA. You are DOA. You're not only you're going to piss off Snyder fans, the general audience is going to be like, yeah, we saw this before. It'll be Superman Returns all over again.
Yeah. Well, the problem with Superman Returns, and I've said this, is the story. It wasn't branded.
True.
Like if he had an awesome story, that shit would have fucking taken off, and your universe would have started back then.
True.
You know, and
well, that's why that's a big part of why Brandon Routh, he was my favorite character on Crisis, because it's like he got the chance at that point. He was no longer playing Christopher Reeve playing Superman. He was playing his own Superman at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they definitely did. They did right by him.
That.
They, definitely did, and he's one of my favorite Supermen. So,
and that Kingdom Come outfit looked great.
Oh yeah,
looked really good.
Yeah, like, I've got the great temples. Yeah, it's like but I do still stand by. It's like I wrote an article a while back. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It was about a year and some change ago. Where it was basically DC could have their own equivalent to No Way Home with Superman.
Yes.
And I still keep pushing this where I'm saying it's like just imagine like doing like a big multiverse event thing where you had like every living Superman actor, whatever event, crisis, whatever happens, to bring them all together. We got it like
Final Crisis.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of what happens in that book.
Yeah,
Final Crisis. They assemble a lot of different Superman. So yeah,
they did not call him back. They didn't call a lot of people back for the Flash movie, but hey, that thing is said and done. It's put a fork in it on that movie, right?
You're talking about Routh.
Yeah,
that one.
Honestly, as much as I understand the thought that went into getting a CGI Christopher Reeve, I really feel like they would have benefited more from just getting fucking Brandon Routh standing next to Helen Slater there.
Oh yeah,
that to me would have made more sense.
Well, because he's the modern continuation of Christopher Reeve.
Right, exactly. So
well, I mean, and also they didn't really have to fucking showcase Batman and Superman. They could have showcased fucking different versions of the Flash.
They could have showed fucking John Wesley Shipp
movie.
Like, why the fuck wasn't John Wesley Shipp in that? That doesn't make
why
any
wasn't
fucking
he in
sense
that?
to me.
Why wasn't the other guy that played fucking Jay Garrick, but turned out to be Zoom, Hunter Zolomon? Why wasn't he in that shit?
I remember Scott of the McClellan of a DC Squadcast. I remember
Grant Gustin.
He was talking about at one point. Now I fell for this too, where the Jay Garrick cameo in the Flash movie. I initially thought that. No, he doesn't he? I thought he looked a little.
He does kind of look like
Teddy Sears. He was the editor.
Yeah,
but it was it was just the editor. But he does look a lot like Teddy Sears. Yeah.
So, but as far as and this is some this is pretty good fan art here actually. But that's pretty much where I stand on it's really kind of stand on the casting of this whole universe in perpetuity until we actually see some, any tangible stuff from it. Is like, okay, you landed a dream role. Godspeed.
Get out of here. Yeah. We got a troll in the chat. Sorry, guys. Why wasn't Shaq as John Henry Irons in that movie? They look, I'm sorry. Shaq sucks as John Henry Irons, but I want a John Henry Irons.
Well, no,
I need Steel.
Well, have you been following Superman and Lois?
No, I haven't because after the first season,
he's on he's on Superman and Lois, and
okay, cool.
He's a regular,
they're doing everything with him on that show that like 10-year-old me, that when the Steel movie came out, that's what I envisioned was going to be.
Does he have an S on his chest or no?
He does not currently have an S. I'm thinking because they're going into the final season, they're finally going to give him the S and the cape and all that.
They should do that. They really should.
But when the Steel movie came out in '97, I was
honestly, of the Superman and Lois stuff, that was actually some of the stuff I actually kind of enjoyed. I wasn't really too huge on making him like, it's Lex Luthor in the beginning, but it's not really him. It's actually John Henry Irons from another universe. It's like, okay, I can kind of buy this. But like again, I've said this many, many times. What really lost me with Superman and Lois was the whole brother shtick with whatever the fuck character that was, the not Morgan Edge. Yeah, that was where I kind of lost it. But the John Henry Irons stuff is good. If you're a fan of that character and you want some, a little bit more traditional as opposed to say Steel with Shaq, I'd say give Superman and Lois a chance.
Okay, well, I mean, I'd have to jump into whatever season he's in. Because I'm not going to sit through that shit. I couldn't do it.
Oh, he's from the beginning. He's in from the beginning, and he stays up until like now, right, Brad? He's still a mainstay character.
Yeah, he's still continuing. He's going to be in season 4.
When was he introduced?
First episode.
Yeah, he's right off the bat.
Yeah,
I don't remember seeing it because I got to like episode 4. And
because it's a fucking bait and switch. They try and like he takes the name Luthor because he's from another universe.
That's him then.
Yeah, that's John Henry Irons. Yeah,
they don't establish later in the season that it's John Henry Irons, but they're kind of teasing. Yeah,
right.
And also because he initially has an adversarial relationship with Superman.
That too.
But again, other than they have obviously given him a new origin on the show, but
didn't you watch My Adventures of Superman?
Here and there,
Ryan?
Yeah.
Me? No.
Okay.
You talking about the animated?
Yeah.
No, I did not see that.
Because they do something similar. Did you watch it, Brad?
I've seen a few episodes.
Okay, they do something kind of similar that leads to that adversarial relationship with John Henry Irons and Superman in season 1 that they kind of lean into in My Adventures of Superman towards the tail end of the season. I'm not really at
Is that a good show?
Honestly, yes, it is. I actually dug it quite a bit. I didn't think I was going to like it too much, but me being kind of an anime junkie, I actually quite enjoyed it for what it was. And even the season finale cliffhanger had me going, okay, fuck yeah, I want to see where this goes next.
Yeah. Okay. I was the same with Superman and Lois. I didn't think I was going to like it, but and part of it was because I didn't get as much into Hecklin's Arrowverse Superman, which they do. I mean, a little bit of a spoiler, but I mean, I think the cat's out of the bag at this point that they do establish in season 2 that Superman and Lois that is not within the Arrowverse. This is a completely different take on Superman. It's not the continuation of Tyler Hoechlin's incarnation from the Arrowverse.
Also gave them full license to completely recast Lex Luthor like they did because it's not John Cryer. It's the guy. It's
Michael Cudlitz.
Thank you, Michael Cudlitz. He's from Walking Dead. He's the Lex Luthor in season 3.
I like him a lot too as Lex.
Yeah. From what I've heard, he's actually pretty boss as Lex Luthor.
Oh yeah, he is big time. And cool. Kind of go back to what I was saying about Steel. Other than they have given him a new origin story on the show, but they are doing they are showcasing the Superman and Steel partnership that I was hoping as when the movie came out in '97. I mean, it was just a few years after Death of Superman, Reign of the Superman. Establishing all Steel, Superboy, all those new characters, and I mean,
Eradicator,
and I went into that. I didn't see it theatrically, but I rented it for Blockbuster or whatever.
Okay, Brad, you would know better than I. Isn't the Eradicator in like season 1 or like a version of it? Yeah, that's what I kind of remembered. I was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it really takes a deep plunge into the Superman mythos, which is part of why I like it so much. But
I would love for Superman Legacy to do the same. Like dive into the fucking mythos. Don't give us a fucking Lex Luthor or land tycoon.
Well, we got Lex Luthor in it, so
we're for sure getting a fucking Fortress of Solitude. That much I think is abundantly clear.
Yeah, when
I think so. That'd be cool.
Location scouts in Finland or wherever.
I would love to see fucking like those robots and shit that are in the damn.
Yes.
I would love to see them. Like,
cool. No, this is non-negotiable. He has to fight a giant spider in the third act.
No. And by the way, Jerry Bruckheimer's coming back.
By the way, it's like anybody because I point this out constantly.
John Peters, you're right.
Yeah, he made the stipulation that Kevin Smith's like, okay, no cape, no flying. He has to fight the spider. And it's like,
yeah, he's like, okay, screw off. I'm going to put it in a Will Smith movie.
Then in an interview, like some years later, John Peters totally tried to walk that back. Oh, I never gave that stipulation. It's like, oh, bullshit. Come on now.
It showed up in the other fucking movie.
Right.
Yeah, the Flash cameo, but also, okay, go back watch the
No, not the Flash movie. Wild Wild West.
Wild Wild West.
Oh yeah, the giant spider. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But also go and watch Man of Steel. When he goes to battle the World Engine, and notice the World Engine kind of looks a little bit arachnid like.
No shit.
I'm just saying.
And also, the World Engine also has a Brainiac logo.
It has
at the
Brainiac
very bottom of
logo on it. Yeah, or lights, I guess.
But and I don't think Gunn's going to be doing anything with John Henry Irons, at least not immediately. But
man,
they have done again the partnership they've showcased again. It's what I thought. Going into the Steel movie, I thought that we were going to get the cameo of Superman rescuing John Henry Irons and saying, "Okay, do live a life that's worth that you can inspire people with." And I thought, okay, that's what this is going to be. He's going to be saved by Superman. He's going to be inspired to become a hero out of that. He's going to build the whole suit with the cape and the hammer and the S on it. And what we got was that clunky, 500-pound, guy on the motorcycle.
Right.
Steel's. Anybody who tells you like Batman and Robin is the worst DC movie ever,
we hear that from Dawson.
You would at least need to watch Steel first.
Steel is just Steel and Catwoman are like neck and neck.
Yeah. I was just gonna say Catwoman.
And I could almost see those Batman and Robin, Steel and I could almost see those three like.
And we brought this up with Dawson last week, but Mystery Men. That's an awesome fucking movie.
Yeah.
That's funny as shit.
Well, it came like at least 10 years too early.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it gets the appreciation that it should, because it goes through all those tropes, and Andre brought it up earlier. He'd love to see Captain Amazing make an amazing cameo. That would be amazing because I love Captain Amazing.
Well, I love that his suit has all like the endorsement tags. He has
that character always reminded me of Booster Gold.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that's the template is the personality of Mr. Gold,
and that's exactly the type of character that, like, I think fucking Ryan Reynolds was miscast. He should have been fucking either Wally West or Booster Gold. I think he would have done great as either one of those characters. I think his personality fits those better.
Yeah, I think he would have made a great Wally West.
Yeah, I think he's got that sharp mouth, and that's not who Hal was. Hal's a little bit more of a just like straightforward.
Hal Jordan's a dick.
Hal Jordan's fucking Maverick.
Hal Jordan is yes. Hal Jordan is also Maverick. You're right, but Hal Jordan's kind of a dick.
Yeah,
Hal Jordan doesn't really give too much of a fuck about anyone except.
Well, like Maverick. I mean, that's why. I mean, where do you think those rumors about Tom Cruise have been floating around for years?
Yeah, well, exactly, and he would have been a great addition to all that. Yes, he's short. They would have had to put him on a fucking box.
I don't think he's as self-conscious about that whole height thing as Vin Diesel is.
Well, him and fucking Sylvester Stallone, they're both short. Actually, I mean, no. Okay, so Sylvester's my height. I don't consider myself short, but compared to like people who are in their 6 foot whatever, yeah, I'm short.
Yeah. I don't know. We got anything else to say about the Supergirl news though?
Supergirl, I'm interested, and I guess we can only wait to see if they're gonna come up with Reign of the Superwomen.
Yeah, imagine they got like her and Sasha Kaye and Helen Slater and Lauren Vandervoort and Melissa.
Oh yeah,
Lauren Vandervoort. Yeah. I really enjoyed her on Smallville.
I keep forgetting that she was the Smallville Supergirl.
The small girl.
No, I really enjoyed her because she.
And what was that other girl from Supergirl? The CW.
Melissa Benoist.
Benoist.
Yeah. But I remember there was one time when she and Clark on Small when they first meet. He's trying to kind of take her through, show her the ropes of their powers. So he's training her in heat vision. So he says, okay, now watch, and he uses, showing her heat vision, like don't just blow things up with it, like actually do some accuracy. And he burns a smiley face on this watermelon, and he says, okay, now you try it. She goes for it. She just completely explodes the watermelon.
Yeah.
So I did really enjoy their chemistry on Smallville. So that could be that could be part of what the whole thing I'd said about the whole Superman No Way Home idea is like, oh, you had the Supergirls in there too. You had like a big Kryptonian multiverse event, and then you can splinter off and do all kinds of things out of that, and everybody's happy.
So if Superman and potentially Supergirl are in Superman Legacy at that point, do you go full hog and do a version of Superboy?
It depends on which Superboy you're talking about,
right?
Because I'm a huge fan of Connor.
That's what I'm saying. If you have Lex Luthor there, I could easily see them. Like,
I would, dude. I'm sorry if they were to go as far as like we've been talking about doing the Reign of Superman. I need to see that shit. I need to see that shit in live action. Here it is, fucking.
What's one thing that Lex Luthor hasn't done in a live action Superman film? Make a fucking clone of Superman that has half his DNA, right?
Well, he hasn't worn the.
Well, I mean, the first clone he made was Bizarro.
True. True.
And that would be a great precursor to like, okay, we've refined it now.
Yep.
And because I'd love to see Bizarro. I think that would be a fun film to watch.
Yeah. Well, he also hasn't worn the mech suit yet either.
That's true too. Yeah, you're right.
I actually remember people theorizing like from the scout ship scene when ZSGL when Superman goes to get the suit, seeing like one of the space suits. They said, "Oh, that's Lex is going to take that and like modify that to be his
power suit,
his mech suit." Yeah, I would love that. That
would be awesome. You drew that for Project Justice League?
I did.
Yeah, you did. Which I think was a great addition to that story.
Yeah, I agree.
Personally.
Yeah, I brought that up because I was like, yeah, that would be because the way I would have done BVS would not have been Doomsday. I would have done Zod brought him back as a zombie, and that's what makes him disoriented and a Bizarro. And then I would have had Lex Luthor in Zod's suit that he modified, and then that's how you get that dynamic. And then so I would have had Bizarro fight Superman, and then Zod Bizarro fight Superman, and then I would have had Lex Luthor fight Batman.
By the way, that's another thing you get on Superman Lois is Bizarro. He was Bizarro. Yeah. He's a major character on season 2, and he is the Lex spoiler again. Lex on Superman. This is definitely a nod to BVS, but a modified version of it. It's like he create Lex. Bizarro, dies in season 2, and then Lex revives his body, and he creates Doomsday out of Bizarro. And that's how the cliffhanger of season 3 ends on.
Yep.
So and it was cool because it's like season 2 when Bizarro showed up in season 2, he was in the containment suit. So it's like all the teasing of all the TV spots, everything people thought, okay, they're setting up Doomsday, and then it turned out it was Bizarro, and then now it's like, oh no, we really were setting up Doomsday the whole time.
Yeah, I remember that.
So yeah, that's definitely that Superman and Lois, like it made going in during the previous WB's regime handling of DC, a bit more tolerable for me because I had some good Superman content going on.
Oh, there you go. Because I mean, what turned me off was the kids, like the boys.
Sure.
Emo boy, freaking Kylo Ren was like, I'm done with you. I don't really care. And then the other one like left the series.
Yeah, it's not fully clear why, but apparently there were some personal issues he was going through, so he stepped away. And it's if you gotta do what you gotta do. So
sure, definitely, man. Your family first.
And by the way, as far as like the DCU introducing Superboy alongside Superman and Supergirl, it's like I think that they may also when and how of them doing that might be predicated on whether or not Jordan can become Superboy, like properly Superboy in season 4, because they have very much been setting up, leading towards that. He's the son who's been developing his Kryptonian powers. Superman's been training him, and so it's it seems to me like, especially with this being the final season, it's very likely they're going to close it out with him properly becoming Superboy.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool.
Again, it's not Con-El, but it's a version of Superboy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Con-El. I mean, they had him on Smallville. So,
I liked his version on Smallville. I liked the Reign of the Superman cartoon that he was in.
Voiced by Cameron Monaghan, I believe.
Listen, if you're gonna do it in live action, you got to go a lot. You got to give him that leather jacket. You got to give him the piercing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
The haircut.
You got to give them unique looks.
You got to do the Metropolis Kid version, pretty much.
Yeah.
You got to do that.
Definitely. And then you've got to make Steel look like I drew over here, like fucking Iron Man. Well, I mean, shit, I drew all except for fucking Cyborg Superman. He's a villain. So I was like, but I drew fucking Brandon Routh as the Eradicator, and here's Steel right here. So he's got his hammer. It's fucking awesome. I think those characters really enrich the Superman mythos, and because they just don't really every time they make a movie, it's always either Lex Luthor, Zod, or in combination or whatever. It's they never really go into anything else. They never introduce any other characters.
Ironically, Zach was the guy going in because he had Lex, but he also had Zod, and then he had Doomsday, and he was bringing in Darkseid, and Steppenwolf, and so yeah, he's the guy as far as like cinema. I mean, TV shows they tend to, both animated and live action, they've tended to exploit the Superman Rogues Gallery far more so than the movies have. But but yeah, they've always tended to gravitate more so to Lex than Zod. I mean, Zod really didn't come back cinematically until Man of Steel. Right. But and it's because like everybody, I was theorizing, okay, this is it. I mean, it's like there's no way they're not putting Brainiac in this, and it seems like they don't have Brainiac in it, unless there's some kind of big surprise that hasn't been revealed, which is entirely possible.
I wouldn't be shocked if they did, like Ryan mentioned earlier, if they did something like Bizarro, if they had David Corenswet doing double time as Superman and a version that is Bizarro Superman. I could see that absolutely being the case. And it's all engineered by Lex Luthor because he's cast in this movie. Yeah. It's very plausible. Don't get me wrong. I'm of the camp, and I've been banging this drum since the fucking movie was announced. Like, do Brainiac. Brainiac's a villain that people have been wanting to see for a long time. But honestly, I could, now that we're so close to production and there still hasn't been any kind of casting in that regard towards Brainiac as a character, given the way the movie could come, I can honestly see a version of this movie where fucking David Corenswet is doing double time, and he's not only Superman, but he could be a version of Bizarro.
Yeah, version of Bizarro. Is he actual Bizarro? Is he Junkyard Superman 3 Bizarro, or is he Nuclear Man?
Right. Knowing James Gunn, it's probably going to be like a very traditional backwards-ass version of Bizarro. That would be my guess.
Well, so what I did is, on my site, I made a shirt of the Man of Steel S, and what I did was I grabbed some purple paint. Yeah. And I took it like as if, Bizarro's looking in the mirror and he's like, nah, that's fucked up. It should be an S. So he uses the purple paint like to make the S, but he makes it backwards because of the reflection in the mirror, and it just dries like that. So it's an S and you see the S, but then you see the Bizarro symbol on top of it because that makes sense to him looking at his reflection.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that they have that actually with when he's turned into Doomsday on Superman and Lois. His S shield. I mean, it's the backwards, Bizarro S shield, but because through all of Lex's experimentation, you still kind of see like the remnants of his Superman suit. So you still see, his S shield. Still, it's faded and it's kind of blending in with his, with the kind of the mutated Doomsday, flesh that he has now. But it's still very visible there. And actually, really quick, Ryan, I wanted to your shirt jogged my memory about this because I've been wanting to bring this up for a long time.
Oh yeah, I love this.
I'm so amazed that nobody has brought this up, and this it relates to Black Adam. But no, I can't believe this is an Easter egg that they put in there that's so blatant, and nobody seems to be. I can't think of any commentary or anybody like saying, "Oh, hey, did you catch that reference out of that book?" It's when Black Adam and Hawkman are having the fight scene in the apartment. And they're in the kids' room, and then the door slams shut, and then Black Adam's fist punches through the door, and the door has the S shield on it. So that is totally a Death of Superman reference.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, wow.
They when they're doing these visual effects, they look at them frame by frame. So there's no two ways about it. That was definitely an Easter egg put in. Yeah. So that's awesome.
Yeah, but it's the kind of thing where it's like you would think there would be articles everywhere about that. It's like, oh, did you catch that Death of Superman reference in Black Adam? But I don't remember seeing any come out.
I think there was so much going on with Henry Cavill being, putting it out there that he, was tapped again as Superman, and then he got it yanked away by James Gunn. I think there was so much that people just just like shifted their focus and were just like, fuck this universe, fuck all that, fuck it, whatever. And I think that kind of got lost in the mix. But yeah, and I mean, it's an awesome find. Definitely. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they put in the kids' room. Like I think there's Batman shit.
Oh yeah, he's such a fanboy. He's got action figures, posters, everything. Yeah,
and they did the same in Shazam with Freddy.
Where Freddy has the the batarang or like the one bullet that bounced off that one time.
Right.
And let me show this. This is from Droga.
Yeah, I saw
right here.
He actually showed
us. There we go. A drawing he did with I guess that's Nicolas Cage.
Nick Cage.
Right
it's
there.
Lawless Wonder Woman.
And then
John
Lucy Lawless. And yeah, the Flash. Oh wow, that's pretty good, man.
That's neat.
And then it looks like Val Kilmer.
No, I that's supposed to be Keaton. It's like Keaton or Kilmer. Yeah.
It's very Tim Burton Batman. So that's very good, man. Very good artwork right there.
He shared this with us, and we brought this up, William and I, last night.
Nice.
Of William, if anybody who's hasn't heard him talk about it yet, he is not a fan of Nick Cage Superman, like conceptually at all.
No, I thought when they were coming up with it, they were trying too hard to be different. I thought they were like, yeah, let's just go really weird, make the costume really, really reflective and shiny. And and then let's give him long hair and make him look kind of really weird.
Yeah, but also I mean that was like comic book wise, like that was Superman's look at the time, was post
at the time in the early 90s. He did have the mullet, but the issue is that for me was that and Nick Cage is no stranger to wearing hair pieces, but the rest of his hair just didn't match what you would see in the comics.
Sure.
He just had that receding hairline that just, I'm sorry, it just didn't look good. Like if you look at, I think what the second National Treasure, look at his hair piece there. I think that's the worst I've ever seen Nick Cage.
I have to go back and watch that.
That's the sequel. The first one, he looked fine. The second one, it was like,
look at the difference between the hair piece or the hairstyle between the two Ghost Rider movies. I mean, it's very noticeable.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
First one's not so bad.
Yeah, the first one I could actually see being a MCU Phase 1 movie.
Yeah,
like tonally, I think it very much fits the MCU Phase 1.
Sure. Oh yeah, definitely. The format that that they shot it in, as far as like just the structure of the movie of the story.
Well, I think even that movie came like a year before Iron Man did.
Yeah, it was very short. Like. Gap that to it was the last
2007.
Yeah, well, I mean, we liked it. I bought it on Blu-ray, or not Blu-ray. I bought it on DVD at the time.
I don't even consider it like a dirty guilty pleasure. I actually find it pretty enjoyable.
I like the guy that played the what's his name? He's
Mephistopheles.
Yeah, that was Peter Fonda, wasn't it?
Fonda.
Yeah, Peter Fonda.
Right, Jane Fonda's dad.
Yeah,
and I thought he did a great job in that role.
Great.
Yeah.
And then wasn't Chris Elliott in there? As another Ghost Rider?
Yeah.
I thought he was.
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott.
No, Sam Elliott. Yes.
The Carters. Well, they retcon him as a Flaming Skull Ghost Rider because I mean, originally he was the guy dressed up as the ghost and on the horseback, but yeah, it's like I think again it fits. It would fit tonally with MCU Phase 1, so it's like I don't think that's again like Phil said, so that's not one I view as like any kind of guilty pleasure. The second one,
that's a different story.
I would. Oh God, story. I went to that one with
something of vengeance, wasn't it?
Oh, Spirit of Vengeance.
Spirit of Vengeance.
And by the way, it's like that for that one they had for Mephisto they had Kieran
different
Hines.
Actor, completely different actor.
It was Kieran Hines.
You're right.
Kieran Hines, and well, they renamed him Rourke for some bizarre reason.
Yeah.
But so he's and the joke I tell is that as far as like Kieran Hines, his career in superhero movies, first Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, then JL 2017, then Zack Snyder's Justice League. So it very much was the case of third time's the charm for him.
Right, true. Very true.
But yeah, Droga, he shared us with us the just the Nick Cage one by itself, but that's the whole the whole ensemble of like 90s Tim Burton JL there. So good job there, Droga.
Yeah, no, he definitely likes that. What is that? Young Justice style.
Yeah.
Which is a good. It's a good. I really do. Or not really Young Justice. It's more. I think it's more of just the old DCAU. It's
more.
I mean, he's in the
honestly
chat.
more,
answer for us.
Not old DCAU, new 52 DCAU. The movies like Son of Batman and
Son of Batman, all
Justice
that,
League War,
which
all
was
that
a
shit.
great run. Great
run. Apocalypse War is one of my favorites of all time.
It's a good movie.
It's not Henry Fonda. I think Bridget Fonda. God dang it! There's too many Fondas out there. I'm not fond of Fondas.
Apocalypse War. That's kind of by default was my number one CBM of 2020. Actually,
that's hilarious.
Well, aside from that, it is genuinely awesome. I mean, it was kind of a because of reasons, it was a pretty dead year for CBM.
Pretty slim pickings. Your options are Birds of Prey, Justice League, Apocalypse War, Wonder Woman 1984, New Mutants, Superman, Man of Tomorrow. Was there even any Marvel movies that year? I don't think so.
Yeah, well, they were going to have Black Widow,
right?
And then that got bumped, and I think they might have had one more. They were going to have that, but yeah,
I think Marvel, it was Black Widow and Eternals. I think were set for 2020.
Yeah, the MCU just completely took off from 2020, and New Mutants was. I mean, that had been shifted around God knows how many times at that point. So
it needed reshoots. They went through like one studio owning it to another.
I would have loved to have seen the original. Maybe that would have been a good movie. Like, oh, there's a scary bear outside. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So I mean, it was actually the first movie I saw theatrically when theaters reopened during the pandemic.
Yeah.
My mindset was very much, I was sounding like Tony Stark when he's rescued from captivity. I was saying, it's like, listen, I have been cooped up in here for 5 months. I am getting out of here on a Friday night. I didn't even care that I ended up being I just thought the movie itself was basically just okay. It's like, no, I am getting back out into the world after 5 months of being just cooped up. If I have to wear a mask, I'll wear a mask. I did. So.
Yeah.
And that was when they had the duct tape blocking off every other row too.
I don't think I saw that. The first movie I saw back in theaters wasn't even in 2020. It was 2021, and I saw Mortal Kombat.
Oh wow.
Okay. Yeah, that was a pretty big gap.
It was almost Godzilla versus Kong. It was almost that. It was almost that, but I ended up getting sick, so I had to wait a couple weeks. Fucking quarantine myself, all that shit. And then by the time I was feeling better, I was like, all right, fine. I need to go see a fucking movie, and it wound up being Mortal Kombat, which I didn't hate.
Yeah, because we've I think we talked a bit about that when we did the Army.
Yeah, we have.
Party, because Sonata's in both of them.
Right.
I am looking forward to seeing him as Scorpion again in two, because he was legit Scorpion.
Yeah, I agree. And even
Joe Taslim going from Sub-Zero to Noob Saibot.
So that's gonna be so badass. I can't wait for that.
No, that was when when the 21 movie, that's when it's on fire, is the beginning and the end with Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Yes,
that is when it's at its strongest by far.
Oh, 100%. Like the Scorpion Sub-Zero stuff in the new Mortal Kombat movie is leagues and bounds better than the Scorpion Sub-Zero stuff in the 95 movie. But then you look at the other cast and crew of the 95 movie as opposed to the 2021 movie, and it's literally the reverse both ways.
Yeah. So the MK2 coming up, that has to kind of like strike the balance of like.
I think it will.
Yeah,
I think if you're gonna do the second movie and it's gonna probably feature the tournament, you've got Johnny Cage in there, especially played by fucking Carl Urban. Like I don't see how the second film could be any weird.
If it doesn't feature the tournament, then I think you're just gonna have just a whole herd of people just like, nah, fuck this.
I feel like this movie is gonna do what people wanted Annihilation to be back then. I feel like it's gonna be an opposite type of reaction, but I don't know. I'm not trying to make any kind of hard guesses until we see something from the movie. I actually wonder if that movie even comes out this year or early next year.
I'm inclined to think next year.
Oh, sure.
Hopefully they don't.
I think Steel is pretty bad, but how can you get beyond Halle Berry's bad acting and Sharon Stone's bad acting?
That's that's a real topic.
And that other guy, the guy that was on that, he was on a cop show, but he played a cop in this one too. That with this kind of slick back curly hair. What's that guy? He looks like Lou Diamond Phillips, but he's not.
You know what? Also,
he didn't do a good job
even back then when Catwoman came out, I remember thinking at the time, it's like, how did they? I mean, I just would love to know what Halle Berry's reaction was the first time she saw that
suit.
And it's like, this is what you guys want me to wear.
Well, I mean, look, okay, I don't think the actresses really care that much in that situation because they're they're in that role, and it's an outfit, it's a costume, it's performance art. So I think I don't think you spend a whole lot of time kind of contemplating or thinking that, but I mean, it was a complete 180 from the way she looked in X-Men, where she's just in this black leather outfit, which is kind of like boring as shit.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like something out of like a BDSM like porn movie.
True.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, a lot of Hollywood's kinky.
So in the event that Halle Berry comes back for Deadpool 3, who wants to make the bet that she's going to be in the White Storm outfit from X-Men the 90s show?
I wouldn't be surprised, and
wouldn't
I
be shocked at all.
And
would she wear the head thing?
Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah, if she does, then I'm sold.
And look at again
headdress.
Some of the photos she's posted on social media recently, where she's got very Storm-esque white hair lately.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. I am definitely I think it's far more likely than not that she's in Deadpool 3.
And considering that Kelsey Grammer came back for like what, a 2-minute scene in the Marvels, and he looks just like Beast from the animated series. Yeah, if Halle Berry's in Deadpool 3, I bet you donuts to fucking dollars she looks like Storm from the animated series.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And I actually just saw today that the new X-Men 97 animated series is actually slated to release in spring of this year. I'm like, oh, they for sure want to capitalize on that Deadpool synergy. They want that. They want it so bad. It doesn't shock me at all.
Yeah, so like what I don't know what other cameos. I mean, obviously the big one. It's not a cameo. It's co-lead role of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine.
Right.
But like what other? Yeah,
Taylor Swift is probably in that movie.
Yeah, I remember that being a big story.
Yeah, she's probably going to be in that movie.
I don't know.
I don't know if I should say it out loud, but there are 2 other mutants from the Brotherhood that are for sure going to be in that movie.
Well, yeah. Well,
from set photos.
Yeah, I think probably people can put 2 and 2 together about who those are. So,
and I'm happy it's one version over the other. To be brutally honest, I'm actually quite happy it's that version as opposed to the X-Men Origins Wolverine version.
Yeah, these timelines are so confusing.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Let's, you know what? Now that you mention that, I'm even kind of curious. Like, will it be Patrick Stewart or will it be James McAvoy? And I'm kind of actually leaning towards Patrick Stewart.
Well, he's already shown up in the
just a Multiverse of Madness. Yeah, and got killed for the 3rd time. As Xavier.
If he's back, does that mean Ian McKellen might show up too?
Yeah, wow.
That's the question.
Oh
right?
man,
I think McKellen is not as sought after as Fassbender.
That's a good point.
But
like everybody loves Patrick Stewart. Like people like
that's a good question. Like which would be?
I think Patrick Stewart is the number 1 Professor X, and I think Fassbender is the number 1 Magneto.
Yeah, I think Fassbender's Magneto is really one that a lot of people really latched onto when it came to those newer X-Men movies, because he was just too fucking good in all 4 of those movies.
Definitely.
The best moment is when he tracks down the Nazis in that bar in Argentina.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
I'm Frankenstein's monster and I'm looking for my creator. Oh, that is like that's probably my favorite Magneto scene of all time.
As much as I despise X-Men Apocalypse, when he actually kills all those other people for taking out his family with the wooden arrows, I actually kind of dug that scene. But his scenes in Dark Phoenix aren't half bad either, where he's like talking to Jean Grey and she's trying to like
part of Dark
find
Phoenix
Sanctuary.
For me was
just
fascinating.
In Dark Phoenix, I mean, as everybody points out, it's like it takes place 30 years after First Class. Nobody's aged a day.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's true.
But going back to potential cameos, and this is another one. I did an article about this a while back, and it suggested is that if they really wanted to like be like Deadpool meta and have a lot of fun with this, who they could since they've got Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman both in this, who they could really, this would be so funny if they brought Scott Adkins into it.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, if they brought, because remember he was one half of Weapon 11 in
right.
Origins. So if they pulled that off, that'd be quite a coup. That'd be because they could have so much. They could have so much fun. I mean, they already have tons of fun, like poking fun at his mouth being stitched shut and the swords coming out of his fists, and Wade going back in time saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna blow his brains out and just forget about that guy." But if whatever humor they could still mine from that, it's like that probably would be like the best way they could do is they brought Scott Adkins back and even just a quick little cameo, even if they had him in the suit from John Wick 4. It was like, oh yeah, by the way, this guy was like he was flipping around doing being like my stunt guy, my fighting double for against Wolverine and Sabretooth. Oh, and that's another one. It's like, will this feature Sabretooth at all?
I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut my mouth right now.
Well, I wasn't asking directly. I was like positing the question.
Yeah.
And that's
it'd be nice. I'll say that.
If it does, like, is it Tyler Mane or is it Lee Schreiber?
I would lean more towards Tyler Mane.
I think I would too. Well, it's because he did get kind of shafted after that.
Yeah.
Because he showed up, he did great, embodying, the big brutish, vicious killer kind of a side of Sabretooth, and then Lee Schreiber really got to do a lot more as far as his person, his personality, his relationship with Wolverine. But
one of my favorite takes of Sabretooth is X-Men Evolution, because it's literally just that. It's fucking Wolverine and Sabretooth just beating the fucking crap out of each other every couple episodes or so. Like, Sabretooth just shows up and goes, Wolverine, and then fucking Wolverine shows up and goes, Sabretooth, and then they just fucking fight. It's so great. That's really just what I want, and I'm kind of hoping I get that in Deadpool 3.
Yeah. Well, and, by the way, this is another one. I'm sure this is on a lot of people's minds, is X-23 or X-23.
Yeah, X-23. Yeah.
Laura. Yeah. I will say. I think I thought I was saying X-24. but when at some point you got to think, like, when are they going to bring her back? And because she was
Wolverine in the comics for a little while.
Well, she was. I mean, for that being Logan at the time, being a Hugh Jackman send off, it's like, you would think that that there wouldn't be you would think that you wouldn't have like another breakout character, in the in what was at the time his finale, much less a first time actress who's a kid, and she just she just about stole that movie and did so without saying a single word for the first 3/4 of it.
Right. Not only that, apparently Mangold was actually working on like a spin-off movie with her.
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
And then the fucking buyout happened and Disney canned it. It was like, that's a shame.
Yeah, but if anybody can open doors, on the Marvel side of the multiverse, it's definitely Deadpool.
It's Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I would definitely love to see her back. And it's.
I promise you, there is going to be like some kind of meta commentary on why that version of Wolverine is alive and the one that is in Logan is dead. I promise you, they're going to poke fun at that.
Oh, yeah. Well, they kick off. I mean, Deadpool 2 with the whole little figurine of him getting impaled.
Right.
Yeah, they're going to. It's probably going to be a running joke, I would imagine.
Well, even the ending where he's kind of time hopping, they show Deadpool showing up against a fucking Wolverine, and you see the claws come out of the hand. So it's like they were kind of hoping to get Wolverine against Deadpool from then. So I'm just glad it's happening now.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's like, what has Hugh Jackman been like stated definitively? Like, what convinced him to come out of a Wolverine retirement?
I think the thing that really did it was like he wanted it like on good authority that whatever we do with this character, it cannot touch what we did with Logan. It cannot infringe on that continuity whatsoever. And I'm sure Sean Levy, Kevin Feige, everyone went, "Oh, don't worry, you're a variant. You're not that version. You're Wolverine. You're just not the one that you played in Logan."
Okay,
I'm sure that was probably it.
They even said that in that initial announcement video where they said we're not touching Logan. So yeah, that makes sense to me.
Now,
and I wouldn't want to touch Logan.
There's a difference between like not touching it and poking fun at it. I will also point that out.
Oh, sure, yeah, because you could have like Ryan Reynolds jump on when he's jumping his back. He's like, "Logan, I have to pee."
Yeah.
By the way, have you guys heard Mr. Stephen Colbert? Shout out there, because I think he might have mentioned this on the Vodka stream about a year or so ago, once or twice, where he said, now I think it's pretty clear this is not what's happening, but he said if they really wanted to like go like full just lean into the Deadpool humor, what it would be is like Hugh Jackman would come back, but he would not be playing Wolverine. He would be playing Hugh Jackman, and Wade just says, "Okay, I couldn't get Wolverine. We're just gonna throw the suit on you and give you some claws."
I've heard that sentiment from him.
Yeah. So
it's funny.
Yeah, dude. Again, I think it's pretty clear that's not happening, but it would be a very Deadpool kind of comedic take on the idea.
So there was also another set photo. I don't know if we talked about it here, but like there is a variant of Deadpool with like long silky hair, and he's got
we did. He looks kind of like Thor with a man bun.
A little bit, yeah. So I'm wondering if there are clearly variants of Deadpool in this movie, there has to be variants of Wolverine. If so, which other actors do you get to be Wolverine? Like, do you get a fucking Dougray Scott cameo in there because he was initially supposed to be Wolverine?
That's true.
Yeah,
that would be one, but
that'd be a deep cut.
It would also potentially Tom Hardy, with all the fan cast for him.
Or fucking Daniel Radcliffe, because I know a lot of people wanted him to be Wolverine for a long time too. And
I know Mel Gibson was in the mix.
Yeah. Carl Urban.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think I remember reading Van Damme actually was the early 2000s, like before they got Hugh Jackman, he was at one point considered for Wolverine.
That would have been weird.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. Yeah. I mean, you could still pull off the Canadian thing. He's just from Quebec now.
True.
But yeah, so yeah, who else? I don't know anybody else who would be a good variant. I
could see Nolan North getting like a voice cameo in there because he's been the voice for Deadpool for quite some time before Ryan Reynolds took on the role.
Here this also be. Imagine Henry Cavill.
That would be fucking hilarious.
He showed what was that, Omega Man or whatever?
Omega Red.
Omega Red.
That would be fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah. Oh, and the meta jokes they would tell with that. I mean, there would definitely be a mustache joke.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
So, but I don't know any other news relating to Deadpool 3 at the moment.
I wonder if Josh Brolin has a small part in it too.
Oh yeah, because he's
Cable.
Cable, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually expected they were going to tell a lot more Thanos jokes in Deadpool 2 at the end of it. Was basically just the one.
Just the one, yeah. Pump the hate brakes, Thanos. I think that was it. That was the
only one. So yeah, so imagine like this. What if they had him as both Thanos and like a variant of Thanos and as Cable?
That'd be fucking hilarious. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'd laugh my ass off.
So, but yes, I'm definitely looking forward to Deadpool 3. But
trailer's supposed to drop on Super Bowl Sunday. Allegedly.
Oh, really? Okay, that's good.
Allegedly.
Okay, well, any other trailer news of it? They're speculated for that.
Oh, you know what? It's not really like superhero related, but there was that Guy Ritchie trailer that dropped yesterday. Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah,
you're right.
Yeah.
Frozen Empire.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That looks fun.
And
it does.
I know you were talking about Argyle with Henry. Yeah, and with Henry. Basically,
you know
basically
what? I'm
going
wait
like
on
the
that.
opposite of a Superman and even of Geralt. I mean, Henry looks like he's playing like a crazy person.
A friend of mine just got wind of like how much of Henry Cavill is in that movie, and it's not even less than 10 minutes.
Really?
Yep.
Oh man, in Argyle or in a
Argyle.
Okay. So
yeah, in Argyle, he's literally in it for like less than 10 minets because he's literally just the character that Bryce Dallas Howard's character created, and he's not even in the movie for that long.
Oh man!
And honestly, I also saw that IGN gave it like a 4 out of 10 as well.
Yeah, I've not been seeing like necessary the early the reactions I've seen have not been that positive. And yes, we do need a Dread too.
I agree.
Ben Affleck would be a funny cameo.
Yeah, as his Daredevil.
Or Jennifer Gardner's allegedly in the movie too, so yeah, it would make.
Oh yeah.
It would make for good fun.
And you have
Ben
Daniel
Affleck
Prince of that. Yeah,
think about it.
I'm gonna get one very shortly. I have to invest in it. I just need to get some money so I can purchase them, and then put them. I'm creating a website, so that'll be up.
I guess
that'll be up. Hopefully, the desire is February.
February is tomorrow.
Yeah, true.
Okay, at the end of February. Okay, March. I'm pushing it back to March.
There you go.
The thing about it is too, though, because I mentioned this before, like on the Streams with William, is like the Daredevil movie. I didn't think it was that bad. I mean,
it's not.
I mean, I don't think. I mean, it's definitely
the worst part.
It doesn't hold the candle.
The worst aspect is what's his name? Bullseye. Colin Farrell.
Yeah, Colin Farrell is Bullseye.
He's the worst aspect of that movie.
Yeah, he was definitely hamming it up as Bullseye.
Yes.
But I'm surprised. I don't think I've ever seen any news bite or interview where anybody's like asked Ben Affleck, as having played Daredevil previously, what
they're too afraid because anytime they bring up Batman, they're just like, don't talk about Batman. Why don't you talk about?
Well, this isn't Batman. This is Daredevil.
It's a superhero.
Yeah, I don't think Ben Affleck's really too keen on talking about his superhero roles unless it's
I think he just wants to talk about Triple Frontier.
Unless he approves it beforehand, because obviously, you know, when it comes to doing interviews like stuff and like that, some actors like they will or will not approve whatever they want to talk about.
Well, even when you were there at that thing, right? With Andre and Dave and all them,
yeah,
you know,
Full circle.
Ben,
yeah.
I don't think he talked about Batman at all. Or that much.
Hardly. Like someone tried to ask him about like what other villains he had in store for his script, and he even just kind of not necessarily, he gave kind of a non-answer. He was like, look, I was just trying to do my own thing with it. Just really only had the one villain. There wasn't really all this talk of any other characters, blah, blah. He didn't really answer the question all that much, because you can kind of tell like that is just a sore subject for him to talk about, because obviously writing that script with who he wrote it with must not have been a very pleasant experience.
I would have loved to have seen his reaction to the night before the mic drop.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, and no, I'm not at all referring to Chris Terrio, because Chris Terrio is his guy he brought in.
That is not the guy we're throwing shade at.
Fuck no. Nope. Chris Terrio doesn't need to wear a ball cap to get his point across.
The trailer of missing.
That was
I think yes. That trailer is what I was trying to get at earlier before we started going on other tangents. That trailer looks fucking great. It's the Guy Ritchie movie that they dropped a trailer for. It comes out April 19th. It looks awesome.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, and speaking of other thing that looks awesome coming out in April is Monkey Man. I can't wait.
Yeah,
that
Dev Patel.
Yeah, that looks freaking rad. That looks like I am ready. And because I had written an article or two about it. It was announced like back in 2018, so I wrote about it back then. And then
was that though? Is it animated?
No.
It's Dev Patel basically doing John Wick in India.
Yeah, it's been the description of it's kind of been sold as John Wick in Mumbai.
Pretty much, yeah.
And
I've been watching a lot of Bollywood.
Not gonna lie, when I saw the title, I immediately thought to myself, like the character from Hey Arnold. Because there is a character in Hey Arnold named Monkey Man, and I was like, huh. And then I saw that Dave Patel's attached to it, and I was like, oh, okay, no, this is clearly not the same thing.
Yeah, and it's I'm definitely looking forward to that. But I had written a bit about
Looks
it
good.
Time. Yeah, I written about when it was announced, and then they go off and make it. But that was back like 2018 when it got announced, and then
Jordan Peele apparently produced this movie.
Yeah. Well, it was going to be on Netflix originally, and then Peele saw it and said, no, I think it should go out theatrically. So that's how that happened. But I've been thinking about it like a week or two prior, thinking like, when do we get some news about that? Because that sounded pretty cool to me, and then the trailer just drops out of nowhere. It's like it went from sounding pretty cool to looking pretty cool too.
Right.
So, that's definitely like upper 1 percentile for me as far as anticipation this year. And that's April 5th, I think, when that's out.
Yeah.
So cannot wait.
So who here is hyped to see Madam Web in a couple weeks?
I'm gonna watch it just because I want to see the Spider-Man guy.
Oh, Ezekiel Sims.
Yeah, I want to see him. He's interesting to me. I'm like, okay, let's what is this about?
Sure.
I don't care too much about Madam Web herself, I guess.
How dare you?
I
think they're finally getting there with
dare you.
And then the other ladies, I want to see them. Hopefully they get some action. Spider Women, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, the real weakness as far as the marketing is the posters are just doing too much of the floating head stuff.
I agree. I can agree with that.
I just in general, the marketing departments, they just gotta get past this floating head.
Yeah,
like
that is a
just
large stigma right now, and it's not working. I don't know why they continue to do it. It's just not working at all. I mean, to be fair, the Black Adam one looked a hell of a lot like the Batman Forever one. I actually kind of like that, but yes, the floating head thing is way overdone. It needs to stop.
Yeah, well, the Black Adam one actually, I did like that one, and part of it was because it did have I think they might have even used the Batman Forever one as a template.
I think they did.
But that's not floating heads. That has most of them that has like the whole figure on there.
True. Black Adam's head is the only one that's kind of floating there. You're right. It's funny. Like even before I left Twitter, like I made a post and I put those two posters right next to each other and I said same energy, and so many people were like, "How dare you fucking talk about Batman Forever like that? And I was like, whoa, hold the phone. I fucking love Batman Forever, and I love what this poster is doing. Chill the fuck out.
Yeah,
and
this
people
is not
are like,
to be a diss.
No, not at all. Like I quite enjoyed it, and people were still like, how fucking dare you show fucking Batman Forever such disrespect? I'm like, what? What are you talking about right now?
Well, I can't even like keep my pulse on apparently like where the public sentiment is on Batman, because it seems like, okay,
we talked about that.
It came out, it was liked in its time. Then people turned on it post Batman and Robin, and now people are like back to liking again. I cannot keep I can't keep up with like what the consensus is on Batman Forever for whatever reason.
You know, it's really just kind of like which Batman fan has the loudest voice in regards to that movie. Because I know a few, well, I don't know them, but like I know of a few Batman fans who swear up and down that like Batman Forever is somehow worse than Batman and Robin. I'm just like,
you guys are so full of shit.
Exactly, like you're just saying
it's the same amount in my opinion. They're hand in hand, just like Batman and Batman Returns for me. You know, that's
fair.
You know, I think
same director.
That
so yeah,
that
makes
problem
sense.
with Batman Returns is it feels more claustrophobic because they shot everything on a closed set, and you could definitely tell that it was like just very, very not a lot of real estate there for them to build. I think that the Batman, I think it opens it up a little bit more. It may, you know, even though it is still Pinewood Studios, both of them, but I just think that it had more atmosphere than Batman Returns.
Look at the big difference, the big difference between the two. Largely, look at the chase sequence between Batman and Batman Forever, or Batman Returns. Like you could tell one is absolutely all on a soundstage, and they in '89 it's all on regular streets in New York. Like there's 100% big difference there in the shooting.
You get that, and that's one thing. That's one thing that I did not like, and I still don't like about Tim Burton movies. Like his Planet of the Apes, you could tell that shit was on a closed set.
Yeah.
And he had some really good ideas there, where they were like, you know, driving vehicles and making the actors that were in the ape suits run on the mats to make them look like they're going faster. Yeah, it was really cool. You could do that with a lot of things, but you know, that was the first movie that they did that for, and then his I do like it, but his Sleepy Hollow was also another thing.
I love Sleepy Hollow. I love that movie.
And you could tell that everything.
Very small. I think that was also kind of intentional though with Sleepy Hollow. I think
I would have loved it to have been like shot on location somewhere with like real atmospherics. It would have made it a lot better. And like, awesome. Darth Maul is freaking Headless Horseman. That's cool. But and it was like right after episode 1 came out, so I was like, oh shit, he's gonna do it again. Like, I was like, oh, that's a Darth Maul move. But I really thought that.
Oh yeah, that is Ray Park, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ray Park headless walking.
Oh, and Christopher Walken was the head, right. Or the body, I guess. And he was weird. And like I loved Ray Park. I did not like Christopher Walken in that.
Well, because all he does is shows up and growls.
He's like, yeah. I was like, oh. And then the little girl chops off his head, which is totally believable.
Yeah, that's kind of wild, isn't it?
Girl, like really, like damn, that shit was a twig. Like, what was holding it up?
Well, no, I love the fact that she like he tells him he says he whispers, "Hey, be quiet for me," and she literally.
Oh, she.
It's like a fuck you to him. She lifts the twig up and snaps it. She's like saying, "Oh yeah, just eat my shorts, bitch."
She's like, fuck you.
That was a good moment. But the tree was so fake.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you there. The tree was fake. Looked good, but it was still fake.
I loved everything about like the township, all the people. Okay. I loved how
you know what Tim Burton movie honestly looks a hell of a lot like Super Soundstage.
Huh?
You know what Tim Burton movie absolutely has that Super Soundstage feel? Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, that and also his Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yes.
Very close.
1,000 times, yes.
I haven't seen Wonka, but I want to see it.
I do too.
And I'm a huge fan of Gene Wilder. His performance, he's Willy Wonka to me. So
that film's a classic. There's no getting around.
But I just didn't like Tim Burton's take on the Willy Wonka world. I thought Johnny Depp was just a weirdo. I thought that the little Indian guy that was the Oompa Loompa was it was too much to just clone him or just like film him in various, it just, I guess, positions to make it look like, he was multiple. I don't know. There was nothing in that movie for me that was redeemable that I could say, you know what, I'll give that show a watch again. I can't.
Music is terrible.
Yes.
Christopher Lee is completely wasted in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
The origin of Willy Wonka having his dad be a dentist was stupid. Like, there's really no other way to say it. Like, it was dumb. It was a dumb idea, and it should have never been done. So,
that one, and he made one that was really in that same wheelhouse where I didn't like it either. It was oh god, it was that one with where it was a butcher or something, and it was a musical.
Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd. I wasn't a fan of that one.
Yeah, that one's a tough
one. I like Tim Burton. I like Beetlejuice. I like The Black Cauldron. I like Batman Returns. I did not like a lot of the things that he did since, and it was just like, okay, so
movie I'm really not all that big on. Real Big Fish.
Yeah,
with Ewan McGregor.
Well, see, my thing with the Burton is that because I have like a like 80s up till 2000, that's when he's kind of was sort of his when he was
Frankenweenie is fucking genius.
Yeah, that's almost
well, Frankenweenie. He had that shit forever because he tried to pitch that shit to Disney long before. And that was before The Black Cauldron.
Yeah, that was kind of his golden age, and then from 2000 to about when he started Wednesday, that's when he really kind of fell off for me.
I liked his Addams Family.
He didn't do Addams Family.
He did.
No,
that wasn't him.
No,
that wasn't Tim Burton.
That was the Men in Black dude. That was Barry Sonnenfeld.
No, Sonnenfeld.
Shit. Okay, well, fuck. Well, then never mind.
That's why he's doing Wednesday because that's
exactly
Addams Family.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow. And all this time I thought it was Tim Burton.
They feel a lot like Burton movies.
They do.
You're right, but they're not.
They do. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Just the casting.
It's kind of like
aesthetic. Everything just told me, okay, that's Tim Burton.
Well, exactly. It's Addams Family is the kind of thing where like you would look at that in the abstract and think, well, if anybody's going to tackle this, is going to be Burton.
And he was the one person who didn't back then, which was really ironic.
Yeah. So, but he's finally gotten into the
like
Addams Family verse with Wednesday.
You look at Beetlejuice and you're like, oh yeah, he could totally do that. He could do the Addams Family, and he didn't. And it's just like, well, all right, but now he's doing Wednesday, and it's like. This is long overdue. Long overdue.
I guess we could say the same for Beetlejuice too. Yeah,
that's very true. Very, very true.
And that's now in September, I think.
And you know what? I bet you anything it's going to have the same Burton soundstage feel to it because that was shot entirely all on a soundstage.
Well, it all takes place in one house too. So
very true. This is very true.
That's kind of kind of the point, but also yeah, but it was showing like he could do a lot with a little bit. At the
this
time.
is true.
That was a very that was his last thing before Batman, and
I bet you anything that budget doesn't exceed $200 million.
Oh, I don't think it even comes close to that.
Ain't no fucking way it does. If it does, I'd be shocked.
I would look at
Beetlejuice 2 budget. Oh man, I don't even know if they have a budget set for that yet. But it's coming out. Matter of fact, I just remembered that movie's supposed to come out in September.
September 6th. Yeah, it doesn't say the budget here, but yeah, there is no way that's touching $200 million.
Ain't no fucking way, dude. And you have to figure like anyone who's in the first one coming back for this one, they either did it for a small paycheck or they did it because they liked Tim. That's really the only reason they did it. Even though all those actors are like bigger than they were back then, I don't doubt one bit they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll come back for Beetlejuice 2. No fucking problem, Tim. We got you."
Well, like the ones they got they come back were Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, Catherine O'Hara, and I think that's it.
I thought there was one other that was. Are they not bringing back Gina Davis and the other guy?
It doesn't.
Baldwin.
It doesn't. It doesn't say her, and Baldwin's got other things he needs to deal with right
now.
That
is very true. That you're right.
And then Jeffrey Jones also has.
He has other things to deal with.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's just those three. I mean, unless there's some cameo that's being kept under wraps, but Willem Dafoe is in it.
That's true. He is. Yeah.
Who else they got? They got Monica Bellucci as Beetlejuice's wife. So it's like, oh, he scored.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
Nice.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, Beetlejuice. I mean, I could totally see him doing like the Beavis or the I always forget Beavis or Butthead doing the line like, yeah, I scored.
Beavis. It's It's Beavis.
Yeah,
But
he's
yeah.
like it's gonna be.
Score.
I actually first saw Beetlejuice. I didn't see it like renting it or anything, and I was a baby when it first came out. But I first saw it on the Disney Channel, so there was a lot of good stuff. Like
Oh
80s.
God, you know what was worse than that?
There was
the
80s
fucking
PG stuff that was
cartoon.
cut out. Yeah, no, I saw the cartoon before I saw the movie. Yeah,
I saw the cartoon and the movie at like the same exact time. Like I remember watching one before the other directly, and I don't remember which one came first. It's like a chicken or the egg type of deal. But yeah, I saw both at the same time. I was kind of endeared to the cartoon because I was a big cartoon kid. But the movie itself, as much as I'm not a big fan of Danny Elfman anymore, like I wouldn't be shocked to see him come back for the sequel. Matter of fact, I think he is coming back to do the music for the sequel.
He did Addams Family.
Yes, he is. He's back for Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Yeah, see?
He should be.
Yeah, again, we have our reasons for our falling out with Danny Elfman, but
it really does go back to that whole Justice League commentary. Where
there's only one Batman theme.
Yeah, I was like, that's a stretch. That's a real stretch to say, especially in a post Hans Zimmer world.
If that's how he feels, he could have at least shown some support to the Flash. Just saying.
For sure.
Oh yeah, Mars Attacks.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I forgot about that one.
With the aliens, they show
Michael J. Fox.
Oh, that
Jack Nicholson was in that bitch.
That scared the hell out of me when I was because whenever they zap people, they all
those
turn
aliens
into colored skeletons,
freaky as fuck.
Yeah,
and I mean, damn near everybody dies in it. Like they had this whole huge ensemble, and almost all of them to get killed.
Yeah,
I never saw Dumbo. I did not watch it.
I saw it. I was kind of just.
I know it had Michael Keaton in it. I know it had Danny DeVito in it. I just didn't care to watch it. I wasn't interested. I'm more interested in watching fucking Mufasa, which, I'm not. That's an original story, I guess. But I'd rather watch that than Dumbo because I love the cartoon film. So I'm like,
it can't be worse than the 2009 because the Lion King 2009 that one bored
the problem that they had with that for me was that they did not have Jeremy Irons come back, and
they glossed over this over Be Prepared. It's the best song, and they totally turned into a cliff note.
Well, the funny thing about that is Jeremy Irons like hurt his vocal cords.
And so they had to have another
couldn't
guy
finish the song. So the guy that did Winnie the Pooh came in and finished the song for him.
I thought it was Alan Cummings who came in and did it.
Was it? I thought it was the guy that did.
I don't remember who exactly, but someone that came in and did it.
Yes, one of the voice actors that that is there at Disney. Let me see.
Yeah.
Who finished? I can't type.
Yeah, Dumbo kind of came and went for me.
You feel like Dumbo would be a Burton staple to watch because it's got fucking DeVito reunited with Michael Keaton in it. So you feel like it would be worth it. But from
Jim
what
Cummings,
I've been told,
yeah, you're right.
Jim Cummings, thank you.
Cummings. Yeah,
I got half that name right. Anyway, you feel like Dumbo would be like a surefire Burton W because you got Keaton and DeVito teaming back up for it. But at the same time, when you're touching,
he did Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. You're doing something seminal like Dumbo, and you've already got a animated movie. It's all that much harder to try and recapture that same magic. No pun intended.
The only one of the like the Disney fairy tale like live action remakes, the Aladdin was really the only one that I've really liked so far.
I gotta give it to Beauty and the Beast. If I'm being brutally honest,
I have a friend who
I saw Aladdin.
Fan of it.
Wasn't impressed. I haven't seen Beauty and the Beast.
You know what it really boils down to for me in Aladdin? It's Jafar, the guy that got to play Jafar.
Yeah, I will agree.
Fucking bad.
Jafar's pretty weak.
Yeah,
it was just not good.
Yeah,
not good.
And that dude went on to play Sabak. So
he did. You're right.
He did.
Yeah,
and he's a lot better as Sabak. In fact,
that's
well, I mean, that's not saying much because Sabak really didn't have a role. He was just kind of there to die.
He was cannon fodder for Black Adam.
Well, yeah, but again, it's still more memorable than what we got with Jafar.
Is it?
I think it is.
All right. But that's kind of why I give it to Beauty and the Beast because Emma Watson.
Emma Stone.
I own that. I fucked up. But yeah, Emma Watson turned in a fucking great performance there as Belle. Holy shit, she looked like Belle, acted like just like Belle. It was just so good. I'll give her that. I'll give that movie that much.
Yeah. Oh well, of course. Snow White, the next one after Mufasa, which with the CGI.
You talking about the Huntsman?
I mean dwarves. Excuse me.
Are you talking about the one that got canceled?
The whole year with the
Rachel Zegler? Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Gal Gadot in it as the evil queen.
Okay, you know what? You got me there. If I can suffer through Rachel Zegler's acting to witness Gal Gadot play a villain in the form of the queen, yeah, I can stomach that.
Yeah, but that's upcoming. It's going to have those CGI trolls. I mean CGI dwarves. Excuse me. I must have misspoken there.
No, you're not wrong.
I remember when that photo leaked and everybody
fucking lost their mind.
What the fuck is this?
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, they haven't fucking done justice to any little people since fucking Willow, and I'm not talking about the fucking show. The show sucked. They need to hire little people again. They really do. Like The Hobbit. I love I'm sorry, not The Hobbit, but Lord of the Rings. They did awesome work on the fucking on the hobbits and all and the dwarves and all that, but since that movie, it's like, oh, we don't need little people anymore.
Well, if they do bring them in, they bring them in just a punchline.
Yeah,
they bring them in as like mini me, or they bring them in as to just poke fun at how short they are. And
yeah.
I mean, really, the only one I can think of that's an exception to that is X-Men: Days of Future Past with Peter Dinklage. As Trask, and
but that's because he's like in Game of Thrones. He's got respect.
Exactly. So it's like extend that to other people.
I mean, how much respect does he have? He was in fucking Underdog.
But really, I gotta be honest. Like Peter Dinklage was not my first choice as Trask. Like that was I understand it, I get it, but I've always just seen Trask as like he's much more of an intimidating force, not a meek scientist personally. But that's just me.
Yeah, but yes, they do. In lieu of hiring actual short people, they went the route they did.
Sure, absolutely.
It's
I think they need to sort of open that door again.
I agree.
I agree. And kind of give those types of actors something to do.
Yeah.
I mean, other than Willow and what was it, Time Bandits and
Peter Dinklage is the new
Wizard of Oz, and what I mean, there's not a whole lot of shit for them to do out there. As like
again, unless whatever it's like a mini me thing, or they're gonna do something like the Love Guru, where it's Mike Myers just making fun of how short you are for 2 hours and don't know how well that went.
It was the same actor, so it was like from Austin Powers to was it Love Guru? Yeah, it was Love Guru. Yeah, with
that movie is god awful. That is one
Love Guru.
Yeah,
there's some funny shit in that.
No, that's one of the worst comedies.
There's some funny fucking shit in that. Lecoq.
Yeah, that's the pedigree of humor of the Love Guru.
It's so stupid. It's got some really stupid shit, but stupid comedy's funny too.
It's got two elements.
It's got like
going at it on a hockey rink. Come on.
It's not the greatest movie, but it's not the greatest Mike Myers movie, but it is a funny movie.
That's debatable.
It's got I can show you some clips that are fucking funny from that thing.
Let's not
Blaum. I have that shirt on my site. What was it? I forget the acronym for that. Blow me.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. It's like every Indian name he like turns into like a double entendre in it.
He did fucking 9 to 5 on a sitar.
Yeah, that movie is a piece of shit.
That's a funny movie. It's a funny movie. It's not the greatest movie how bad it is in the world. Yes. But it's got some funny shit.
I mean, there's a reason why you haven't seen Mike Myers in hardly anything since then.
That's not the reason. That's not the reason. You saw him. He played. Well, he's a World War II guy. What movie was that?
Yeah, he showed up for like a 2-second cameo in Bohemian
Rhapsody.
that was
just for fun.
That was it.
What is he? Hold on, I've got to pull this up. He's done movies since The Love Guru. Come on.
I don't think so.
I
know for a long time he's been trying to get a 4th Austin Powers movie made.
Yeah, like I don't even see the book as gold never sucked.
Like honestly, yeah. I would actually like to see him. I would like to see like them kind of play on the third film a little bit, but have like it be almost like Force Awakens a little bit, where it's about his kid trying to find his dad, and you don't see Austin Powers until like the last 10 or 15 minutes of the fucking movie. Like, kind of have it be like Austin Powers 3,
Austin
but
Powers Jr. and this would be like a spoof of like James Bond Jr.
Pretty much, yeah.
No, right? Yeah, I could almost see that working. Like if you're going to like, what's the next Bond thing you could satire? Like the animated series James Bond Jr. I could see them going for that. That could actually work.
Yeah.
Goldmember,
though. That's what Austin Powers is. He's a massive spoof of Bond. So, yeah. Goldmember was, yeah.
It was, his worst one by far, even worse than Love Guru, is Cat in the Hat.
Oh, Cat in the Hat, I'll agree.
That was bad.
Cat in
the Hat is like a dumpster fire on top of another dumpster fire.
That was just not good. Charles Seuss rolled in his grave multiple times after that film released. Oh God.
Yeah, that one gave me nightmares.
His biggest ones since then, and it's not because of that movie, but it was Bohemian Rhapsody and Glorious Bastards.
It's like Glorious Bastards, Shrek Forever After, some documentary stuff, Bohemian Rhapsody cameo.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I could see him maybe doing either another Wayne's World or even like a fourth Austin Powers film if warranted, but time will tell.
Yeah. Love Guru 2 was not warranted.
No, not at all. Let's just not.
That's a guilty pleasure.
For you.
Yes. Yes, it's funny. It's got some funny moments.
Well, I don't know. I think have we is there any other news we haven't touched upon today?
Oh yeah, no, we've actually accidentally gone beyond the 2-hour mark. We usually try to keep this in 2 hours, but
they do not need to remake Garbage Pail Kids.
No,
no, they don't. Not
they
even the cards.
Really don't. No.
Mike Myers.
Those cards died in the trash a long time ago for good reason.
I don't know. But anyway, guys, I think that's it for us for the show today. Check us out on all forms of social media. Go check out Dawson on his various platforms. I'll actually pull that up. I'm so sorry. I didn't have that ready. Right. Where is it? It's at the top. Okay, here it goes.
Did I say the loud part out
loud? So check out Dawson on Twitter and Insta and TikTok. Check out me on Insta at Zeeverfett and also TikTok. Andre, Nickatina Show. He also has he does some game channel, something like that. But Phil is doing the Eternal Night, which is a podcast, right?
Correct. That is correct.
And he does that often. And check that out. And if you like superhero merch, check out my my store over at TeePublic and get yourself some superhero merch. Also check out the comic book that I'm drawing currently, and let me know what you think of it. I appreciate any and all comments. It only makes my art hopefully better if you comment on it. But and Brad, where can they find you, sir?
You guys can find excuse me. You guys can find me on Twitter. He wasn't ready. You guys can find me on Twitter and Vero. You can find me somewhat on Facebook. Of course, my writing, all that good stuff. You can plenty of that out there. I share that pretty frequently. You guys can check all that out. And of course, you can find me on the Sci-Fi Center with Mr. William Powell, breaking down all this stuff. And that usually on Friday nights, we're actually also we crossover with a Nickatina, so you can check us out with that too. And you can check me out here for time with 4Nerds.
All right. Well, thanks everybody who has joined us and added to the chat. We appreciate your comments, and everybody who's catching us not live. Go ahead and like and share the video, and leave us a comment. We would love to interact with you guys too. So y'all have a great evening, and we'll see you next time on 4Nerds.
There you guys.